What's up, y'all? Go ahead and say something in the comment section. We're gonna get started in a minute. We're gonna talk about the double standards of men and women. Say something in the chat. What's going on, Warren? Camille, I see you. It's going good. It's going good. I'm trying to get this over with so we can watch some basketball later. So we gonna see what y'all talking about tonight, though. Big Rich, come on in. I know he coming in tonight. My boy Mike is in the building already. Got him in there. Let me get set up. A couple more minutes and we'll be in there. Yeah, you gotta stay safe out here in these streets. It ain't no joke. What's up? What's up? Say we gonna get started when that music get off. When I cut that music, we about to get started. Make this one. I ain't gonna say we're gonna be here about an hour and a half tonight, maybe. Hopefully, if we can agree on some things. But if not, we'll see. And if Mo, you come in the building tonight, you better call in. I don't hear nothing about your voice is messed up. And make sure y'all hit that like button coming in too. All right. Let me see if Mike is in the building. Mike is in the building. Yeah, hit that like button coming in, man. What's going on, Mike? You here?
Yeah, I'm in the building, bro. What city?
Nothing much, man. What's going on with you, man?
Ain't shit, man. I'm trying to find out what the fuck is going on with this topic today, man. Let's get it.
So, do you feel like it's a double standard between men and women?
Oh, hell yeah. Big time, man. Especially the shit that's going on today, They want, I believe, honestly, they want all the benefits, but without having to do the work. You got to put in the work in order to receive the benefits. I believe that if they weren't handed so many things so easily without any kind of repercussions, I think the world would be a bit more balanced.
Mm-hmm. So when you think it started, like the double standard really started to show its ugly head, like what generation or what years? Was it the 80s, 90s? What you think? What you think the double standard really came out when it became between men and women?
Honestly, I think that shit started to trickle down because I'm an 80s baby. But I'm thinking that shit started to rear its ugly head around the 90s. That's when I started to realize that shit wasn't on the same playing field. The parallel levels of the balance began to shift more towards the women. Not saying that I'm sexist or nothing like that, but as a man, taking a second to sit back and watch, it's crazy how, you work hard for something, but instead, something is so easily given to you. But you want equal rights, but you don't want the equal left. If you know what I mean, when you fuck up. Guys, you can't have both.
That's facts. That's facts. Double standards. It's a culture that I think that we need to get away from. to build to be better with the interaction of men and women, and it's just all about just living in your truth and not shame insults or the need to be right. That's what my boy Kevin Samuels always say. But a lot of times when people don't want to live in their truth, they literally use shame and insults and run the guilt trip game just so they can feel good. But it is, I mean, let's just be honest. It is a double standards in everything we do these days. And, it is what it is.
Can I just say something too?
Yeah, go ahead. Jump in.
I mean, how do you feel about this shit? All right, so say for example, if I'm receiving all of the benefits to whatever, right? But you already know with the benefits comes the responsibility and to hold yourself accountable. I feel that a lot of these chicks today, man, not for nothing, not trying to get on them or nothing like that. Some women already know what it is. So you get some chicks out there that don't want to be accountable for anything they mess up on, period. And then when you call them out on it, they get mad. I'm like, don't get mad. We're telling you how it is. If you want to go ahead and we tell you not to do certain things and we strongly advise against it, we're not trying to tell you what to do. We're showing you, hey, look, if you do this, you fuck up, hold yourself accountable for it. But then when they fuck up, they're like, oh, it's your fault. It's everybody else's fault but mine, and no one else could tell me different. And then when you do try to tell them, hey, look, that's not the right way to go about it, then they want to argue with you. And then when the dude walks away, oh, fuck everybody, I don't want to be held accountable still for shit. So they blow in the face. And you know what that ends up? That ends up leaving them to die alone. That's it, period.
So do you feel like a lot of women that don't suck up and understand the truth, they dying alone?
Yeah, they're dying alone, man, because they're not living in their truth. So what happens when you're not living in your truth?
My bad, Mike. Hold on. Now, what you say, Mike? They not living their truth, so they could die alone.
I'm saying, like, I'm saying, like, when these females are not living in their truth, they end up dying alone. They end up dying alone, lonely. I mean, I'm talking like not even the fucking animals that they have in their house want to be around them. They'll know their own leg off just to get away because they don't hold themselves accountable. Now, I'm not saying for the women that actually do live in their truth, because the women that do live in their truth, more power to you. I respect y'all, salute. But for the ones that are not and that want to hold everybody else accountable for their own misdeeds, it just don't work like that. It just don't.
What's up? We got somebody on the line. What's going on, Catherine? You here?
Hey, what's up? I'm here. How y'all doing?
We doing good. We're waiting on a couple more people to call in. Hope we get some new calls tonight. But what you feel about a double standard in dating with women and men, Catherine?
I definitely believe there's a double standard between men and women, because of certain, things that's like okay with men, it's not looked upon the same as it is with women, like the whole thing with the, and I get it, I do kind of get it a little bit between like, sex and stuff, like if men, what they call like men being a hoe or something, or whatever, messing with a bunch of women, it's not the same as it is with a woman doing like multiple men if they not in a relationship. Like, cause there's women out here that's not in no serious relationship, but if they sleep around or whatever, they get around, they look at it as a hoe, or whatever. But if a man do it, they don't look at the man. And and I do get it, the difference, between, but I mean, that's like a double standard though.
Yeah, that's gonna be the first thing we're gonna talk about. We just about to jump right into it and hope that everybody, whoever calls, catches up with the crowd or what we're talking about. But that's number one on the list. I got it I break down things and variables. So make sure y'all stay on topic and anybody call in, don't stress the goalposts. Let's just talk about what we're talking about and we'll get to that topic as we go. But the first thing is sex. I think when it's a double standard between men and women, if a woman have a rotation of men, she looked as a whole. If a man got a rotation of women, he looks as a player. Let's just be honest, though. Women are not built to to have all that DNA inside of them. That's how I feel. How you feel, Mike, about that topic about the sex thing and the body count? Women be looked at differently if they have a high body count than a man. How you feel about that, Mike? Hold on, real quick. Let me let Big Rich in.
Oh shit!
What's going on, Big Rich?
I'm just listening, bro. Go ahead, Mike. What's up, Stack? What's up,
Big Rich?
What's good, man? Go ahead. I'm gonna fall back. Go ahead with your commentary, bro.
All right. So what? How you feel about this sex thing and body count thing compared to a woman and man, Mike?
I mean, so far, it's looked at differently. Like, with the fellas, if they got a body count, they're searching for, whatever it is that they're searching for. But on the other hand, if a woman has a high body count, is greatly looked upon in a negative way. They'll say she's a slut, she's a hoe. Maybe she's just content with being single and, letting dudes do what they want to do. She's living a free lifestyle. Now, on the other hand, as far as all of that, that is a spiritual sign that as a man, I wouldn't deal with that woman more or less because she has a lot of DNA inside of her. She has a lot of body counts, a lot of soul attachment to that. So one day you might get a personality from somebody who she last dealt with along with their energy, and you're dealing with her with your energy. And if her frequency is low, then she's going to be draining to you if your frequency is high. So that's why I say more and more every day, get closer to God, man. The more you closer to God, the more he'll push those kind of people out their path. Even if she's good for now, you will have to pay for it later. So me personally, I wouldn't deal with her if she's got a high body count. That's just the way that it is. With all due respect, I give her props. Hey, she's gonna go ahead. She's gonna do her. But as far as me being for her, that double standard is highly frowned upon. But a lot of people try to boost it to say it's okay, and it's really not okay. For you to think it's okay, your mind must be warped to that kind of conditioning to where it's fucking delusional. It's not okay for her to have a high, crazy-ass body count full of dudes, nothing off inside of her. All of that energy, that shit comes around.
All right, facts. Catherine, how you feel about a woman with the high, whether the same type of body count a man should have, or just sex period with a double standard?
I agree with I get it. Like I said, I get it because women are different than men, but I still feel like a man shouldn't be out there sleeping around with multiple women either. Because it's still not a good thing because, just as a man doesn't have someone, penetrating them like a woman does, it's still not a good thing to be out there, sleeping around, because he can get a woman that doesn't do that, and he can give her something, things like, give her STD. It's just not good, and it brings bad energy to the woman too. So I still feel like it's not a good thing even for a man to do that. I know it's the whole thing. I get it for the women, we shouldn't do it, but why? I do kind of don't see why. People don't really say, well, men shouldn't do that too. It's like men can just do whatever. They can just sleep here, sleep there, and it ain't nothing. That's not cool either. That's not good at all, because if that man is doing that and, he can put people's, other women in, danger, the ones he's sleeping with, he can, call and he can bring bad energy around to that woman. So I think it's the same thing, but just like I said, the only difference is it's not a penetration. So,
Big Rich, what you got on this sex life double standard body count thing?
Well, it's good to be here again. Thanks, Stacks. Catherine and Mike, I appreciate both of your standpoints, and I gather, I glean what you guys are talking about as far as that goes. But this that I'm about to say isn't what I think or how I feel. This is knowledge that I've gathered, and this is from experience that I've had. There is a spiritual side to this, and there's a physical side. We also delve into emotions off of that spiritual side. Here's what we have to understand. Men and women are different. So there's definitely a double standard would be maybe on a superficial level. That's what uneducated minds would think, that it's a double standard. When you delve into it, deep beneath the surface, men and women are definitely different. There's definitely differences in our makeup and how we're built. Now, from a morality standpoint, yes, it is absolutely not a good thing for men to be randomly spreading their seed, for you not to be so consumed with your carnal mind and your behavior that you would be just out here having sex indiscriminately with any and everybody. However, there are several distinct things that are different with men and women. One is that men, when we have sex, purely physical, most of the time, that's even with a woman that we love and we care about. It's purely a physical thing. We do want to please her. We do care about her, but it's a physical thing. It can be separated from other things. When we look at another woman in the street, it's a physical thing. We're creatures. We see bright colors. We smell things. We want to go touch things. We're curious. We're explorers. When a woman gets attracted to a man, and if she already has a man, it's usually because of something she's missing in the relationship that she has. Right. Her emotions are tied into that. And when a man goes and he has sex with different women, yes, he is the penetrator. He is the one spreading his seed. One man can impregnate hundreds of women. A woman can only have so many offspring. Uh-huh. There's a big difference there. So men having sex and women having sex is two different things. It's two different dynamics. When we get to that, women get tied up. Uh-huh. Women can lose their mind absorbing, like Mike said, absorbing all these different energies. And microchimerism, that's not something I think about. That's not something, like women always say, well, I feel this way and I feel a man shouldn't, and I feel that. This is a fact. This is a biological fact. Like I say, we all got a computer on our phones. We all have Google, so I'm not going to go that deep into it. Microchimerism is a real thing. Like Mike mentioned, those spirits, we mentioned, it is a spiritual thing, but it's also a biological thing. That DNA plays a factor in changing women's mindset, their behaviors, and their outcomes as far as things. Uh-huh. So there's a big difference. And yeah, I do see that there's a difference in men and women as far as sex goes, but I do not see it as a double standard because there are different parameters that affect each gender.
Yes. Well, I'll put that on the list basically because that's, it's really something that everybody, well, you can do it, I can do it. So if you can do it, I can do it.
And when we look at it, like I say, brother, when we look at it on the surface level, and women, when they say that, they're right. A man shouldn't be going around doing this and doing that as far as indiscriminate sex goes. But the lifestyle I live, brother, I got 3 women. Okay, they all know each other. It's not a thing. I understand what Catherine was saying about a man and diseases. When you get to that point, when a man is indiscriminately going about random women and this and that, that's a no. That's something hey, look, I frown upon that.
Facts.
But when it's something, this is a thing here. When we had, look at the ancient nation of Israel.
Yeah.
Look at the Hebrews. Look at King Solomon. How many wives he had, and how many concubines he had, and how many children that he bore.
Yeah.
But then you look back at the example of wicked Queen Jezebel.
Facts.
And her seeds and her indiscriminately sleeping with all the different slaves and her husband, King Ahab, and all the different things. There's a big difference when it comes out. It shouldn't be indiscriminate. There is parameters that should be involved. But let's face it, brother, men and women, this is the hang up we got in this society. People say, well, men do it, so why are you down on women? I'm not down on women. And I'm not beating brothers up about it. Like I say, I'm always, when I have a commentary on some stuff, and I thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak, but you know that I'm down on the brothers first of all, because it starts and ends with us. Okay? But when women are always saying, well, it shouldn't be right for men to shoot. Listen, I don't care what you think or how you feel. I don't care about your feelings.
Right.
Life don't care about your feelings. The world don't care about your feelings. The fact about it is men and women are different.
And women are the gatekeepers of sex. And if women hold sex like they used to hold sex for value, things would change.
And brother, I'm all about tradition. But if you're going to go traditional with the sex, let's go traditional with everything else.
Yep, you gotta go. That's a whole nother topic, but that's being traditional from the beginning. But don't be trying to be traditional after you then got 2 or 3 kids and shit.
Right.
All right.
Could I just say
go ahead, Mike.
Real quick? All right, I got love for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, my brothers, my sisters out there, it's crazy. I get it. We all going through some strange ass times and shit like that. And I see it every day, even in the dating game. You get a chick, she wants to play that traditional role of the man taking care of her, but you come into the stable with another man's kid. It's not about you anymore. You want us to take care. You want to play the traditional role, but you want the man to put another man's kids first. It don't work like that. You're supposed to be putting each other first. The man is supposed to lead, though. If you want to play that traditional role, but you can't expect all of the benefits, but you're not putting in the work. You want the traditional role, you have to play the traditional lane. You got to stay in your lane. You can't be in charge of a dude, but yet you want a relationship. That's not a relationship at that point. That's just a form of control. And it's not fair to either side for anyone to just supersede their role. If you want to be the leader so bad, you're going to end up by yourself.
Facts.
When you're trying to play that position of being part of a team.
Hey, Mike, can I ask you a question?
What's up, bro?
And I'm not going to get too far off of this.
Yeah, because we about to.
We do want to stay on topic.
Yeah, because we about to jump into another topic in a second. I know sex. We didn't put a lot on this sex thing, but go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Big Rich. I'll ask him a question.
And it's an open-ended question to Mike or anyone else. When we're just to tip this off about tradition and whatever. If we want to be traditional, what do lions do when they get a new lioness and she has children already? She already has a group of cubs but a new lion comes in there and claims it and beats the other lion and sends him packing or kills him. What does that new lion that comes in, what does he do with the children that are already there?
He either dismisses them or kills their cubs or exiles them from the group to die.
He 99% of the time he kills those children. So, brother, you know, we're the only species, and we're so-called the most intelligent because we're made in the image of the Most High, but we're the only creatures on the face of this planet that deal with that subject matter the way that we do as far as that stepdaddy thing goes. Let me shut up and let's get back on
Yeah, we're going to get back. And that's coming up, too. I mean, I'll be honest, you know, I'll try, you know me, I try to cover everything, but that double standard is coming up as well. The next double standard I want to talk about is age gap dating. You know, women get mad at men for dating younger women. And, you know, and it's unfortunately, but when a guy's in his mid 30s and 40s, he's looked as, you know, most time, most sexiest man alive is going to be in their 30s or 40s, maybe even 50s, you know, and those guys will go down and date a 25-year-old. And a woman, you know, if she does that, she looks as a cougar, you know what I mean? And then guys, you know, sometimes they may call him a sugar daddy or whatever, but at the end of the day, you know, you never really see the opposite. Young guys trying to run after J-Lo or Halle Berry. They just talk about them being the women of the past. I don't know who's making that noise, but I might have to mute a little bit. But
sorry.
That
was me breaking my can down.
That was cool. So I'm gonna start with Catherine about age gap dating. I don't think. Do you have a problem with dating younger men, or you think that's a double standard as well? Because a lot of times people talk about women don't like to date down; they like to date older men.
Stack, can you come back to me? Because I'm getting ready to leave up out this spot, and I'm gonna be in my car because I definitely want to give you an answer for that. So come back to me to that.
All right, Mike. We'll jump with Mike.
Right, that wet. You know, them cougars got that wet, you know.
All right. So how you feel about the double standard of age gap dating, Mike?
I mean, the double standard of age gap dating, I think it's all like, you know, it has a very strong preference, you know, on who wants to deal with who at that time. You get a lot of the younger guys that want to date, you know, the older woman because the older woman, well, I want to say older, the more mature women are already, you know, set. But there is a back flip to that, though, because when you get to a certain age, you're going to be set in your ways. Mm-hmm. It's all about what that person is willing to deal with. If you come into the table with something and that person there's an age gap between you and that individual, they might be set in their ways to where if there's something that you see or talk about maybe of a slight indifference, they may not be willing to change. They're already set in.
Hold on. Let me let this other caller in real quick. Hold on. All right, you gotta put your stuff on mute, bro. All we hear is car stuff. Go ahead, Mike. Keep going.
Yeah, well, you know, with the age gap, there might be on that maturity level to where they're set in their ways of what they want to do. So there's a double standard to that. And as far as the men, he'll date younger women, but younger women may say, well, this guy's too old. Where another woman will say, well, I want him because he's already set. I don't have to worry about dealing with my own age or somebody that's younger than me that ain't got it all together. So it's really all over the place, to be honest. You know, it all depends on what that individual is willing to deal with. What you think about
that? I think he stepped away for a minute.
All right. Well, I mean, Rich, what you think about that, though?
Yeah, my bad, guys.
Oh, my fault.
Nah, I walked away for a second. What you think about the age gap dating, Big Rich?
Well, here it is again, brother. I feel there's a difference. There is a big difference, but there's not a double standard. There's absolutely not a double standard would mean that you would be guilty of something for accusing somebody of something that they shouldn't be able to get away with, and you're looking down on someone that's doing the same thing that you're talking about doing. But it's not a double standard. There's a difference. Once again, the man is looking at a woman for her most valuable attributes, just like a woman is looking for a man for his most valuable attributes. Now, women tend to look at men, and let's not get it twisted, ladies. You can, what you feel or whatever, don't get upset, because I'm not trying to down you. I'm just speaking purely from what we are. The women are looking for protection, and they're looking for a provider. There's nothing wrong with that. Evolutionarily speaking, that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what we're supposed to be. And a woman, I would look down on her if she didn't look for someone that could provide and protect her. At the same time, a man is looking for a woman that can provide her most valuable asset, and that's her beauty and her fertility. Now, when a woman is, let's say, advanced in her age, or as Mike said, a mature woman, she can date a younger guy, but what is that guy actually providing for her? That guy, when these cougars go out and do this thing and that thing cougar, sometimes women embrace it, sometimes it's a derogatory term. I don't mean to offend anyone. But when you're an older woman and you're dating that younger man, and yeah, there's a lot of older women that go through that little hot phase, and they'll do anything, and they'll put their best foot forward, and they'll give it to you until there's a commitment made between that younger man and that older woman. Sooner or later, as a woman, her body's gonna start breaking down. That's not gonna be the thing going on, because there's something called menopause. Okay, that changed the dynamic of that greatly. Now,
flashes and shit.
Look, exactly. Now, a man my age, at 52 years old, the oldest woman that I deal with is 38. The next one that I deal with is 32. The one that I told you guys that I was getting rid of 2 weeks ago, she's 27, and we have crossed paths once again.
Oh God!
Because she just can't stop, and guess what? Neither can I.
Okay.
Because guess what? I still have a healthy sexual appetite, and at the same time, when we do interact, she tells me as a lover, she says she just can't stop coming. Well, here's the thing. It's a natural thing if you look back toward, you don't even have to go all the way back to biblical times. Look back to tribal times in Africa. Look to pioneer time, even in the West, look back to pioneer times and see what the average age difference between a man and a woman was. Most of the time, these women were young. Sometimes weren't even up to the age of 18. Sometimes they're 16 years old and they're marrying a dude that was 30 years old.
Right.
Because he's got a farm, and he's plowed up some acreage, and he has some livestock.
Yeah,
and he can provide for them.
Yeah, women are taught to wait at the finish line and wait for the winners to cross.
Exactly. So, brother, it's not a double standard. It's traditional, like I said. Now, you have guys that are out there that are womenizers, and they catch what people call a midlife crisis or whatever, and they got a wife that they've been down with all this time. Yeah, you always have those outliers that are, that's the exception to the rule, and they'll go leave their wife for a long time to start chasing young women around.
All right.
But it's a very natural and normal thing for younger women to be attracted to older men. Not so much.
But I'm just saying in general, and I'm gonna pass the mic around a little bit, Big Rich. I didn't mean to cut you off, but a lot of times when women date younger men and get shamed for it, they feel like, they feel a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? So, Catherine, how do you feel about dating younger men as a woman if you're ready to go?
Yeah, I am. I think that women do get when they date a younger guy, they are like shunned upon, like, oh, you too old for him or whatever. But
Cradle robbers and shit.
Younger guys, they like older women. I've heard several younger guys. Now, it might just be purely for the sex thing. Let me say that part of it because I get that. Right, but then that's vice versa too. It really go the same because older men, they might go for the younger women, but a lot of times they're not gonna marry them because younger women ain't gonna fulfill everything that older man wants unless that younger girl is more mature in herself. Because let's just put it out there. I mean, it's the truth. Like even if you have a guy that's older is dealing with a younger woman, now there are men out here that are older and they able to still perform and do everything. I've been with men that older than I, and they are able to keep up with just like any other young dude. So I'm not saying that. Let me say that first. That there's not men out there like that. But at the end of the day, a younger woman is also going to be attracted to someone of her age too. So it goes, really the thing go both ways. It could still be, we are attracted. Opposites do attract, whether they're younger or older. But let's not just say that because, that only works for men. Because women do the same thing, and sometimes guys get with a younger, older woman, and they fall in love. Like an older woman is not really wanting that. It happens. It happens. I'm not saying it may not be as frequent, but it does. But it is a double standard for women. Where I say, it's a difference between a woman dating someone, a younger guy, than it is an older guy dating a younger woman, And, sometimes though, it's like that for men because then they call the men sugar daddies. Like, oh, you just, tricking. You're tricking off your money to this here young girl, to get what you want. And in return, it's a lot of young girls that they might have this older guy. Like I done heard plenty of females say, well, yeah, I'm, dealing with him because he give it up and I ain't got to do that much. It's easy. It's easy. They can get what they want out this older guy because he don't want too much. But it's a little bit more when they dealing with somebody their age and they got to go through more. But that don't mean they ain't attracted and still don't want no guy that's younger. Some of the women is there just to get what they can get out that older man. So let's not get that misconstrued. Because there's a lot of young girls that might deal with older men, but you can best believe that they still looking at them a young thing out there. They body right and all that good. I'm telling you. So it goes both ways.
All right.
Very all set though.
All right.
Just never heard of it.
Tate, what you got to say on this topic?
I mean, I'm coming in kind of off key, so I mean, I really, go to the next subject. I mean, another topic where I mean, like I said, I think everybody. Here's what I think. You pay for what you get, and then you play the game. You know what's at stake. So, older man, younger girl, he giving her money. She, like you say, she ain't got to do much. He didn't want to do much. Shit. And for the girl, she didn't want to do much either. Because a younger nigga will be like, look, the fuck, what am I paying you for? I'm gonna get this shit over there. So it works. It really ain't a double standard. What it is you want to do the same thing somebody else wants to do, and you just can't do it. And you can't handle those type of scenarios, titles, or whatever. I think it ain't really a double standard. It's just we look at things in a certain way. Like to hear a woman that has, like, have what's that movie called? She can play that game. That Spike Lee movie where Nola Darby had like 3 dudes. We'll say she a hoe, but in another way, you can look at her and say, hey, she got what she wants. She wanted different type of men. It's not a double standard. It's just, do you want to deal with the other shit that come with what you want? Because you're going to listen to somebody else. Who gives a fuck? If you are secure in yourself, who gives a fuck what somebody got to say? You do the right thing. And then still criticize you, so you might as well do what you do. That's why I say it's like I'm something on this kind of like half step. So that's why I would say, let me come in on the next topic. But like I said, I feel like you do what the fuck you want to do. Fuck what somebody else got to say. You can go to work 8 hours, go home, and somebody still say you ain't did something right. And all you have to do is go to work and do what you're supposed to do and come home anyway. So what do you mean?
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
That's cool. I'm gonna move on to something else. And Rich, you got anything to say, man, before I move on to the next topic?
No, all I'm saying is I don't understand where this money flow thing even came into the subject, man. Because like I said, I told you the ages of my bros, and the thing is, the money come the other way with me, bro.
All right. Well, we about to talk.
All I got to say, and everything is like I say. People feel how they feel and they want to think how they want to think. But like I say, we all got we don't know what statistics are.
And we all here to educate each other. And then the next thing I'm gonna talk about is the money making. So I just feel like it is a double. It's a double. All this stuff could be called double standards or whatever standard you want to call it. But it is a difference between man and woman, between when a woman making $100,000 a year and she feel like she's entitled for a man to make more than her or the same, compared to when a man making $100,000 a year and he go for a woman that's on fries and McDonald's making $20,000, and the women that make 80 to 100 be like, why you didn't pick me? No, because she looked better. He don't worry about the price tag. He worry about her beauty because he got his own money. And sometimes I feel like a lot of women that work their way up the ladder and get this money, they get this entitlement that I'm not going to date down. Or if I get this money, it's going to help me date up. So, because I know women that's make $100,000 a year, but they 220 pounds and 5'4". So I'm going to start with my boy Big Rich on this one, because I know he know how to deep dive into this one. How you feel about this money making thing, and does it?
When you made the analogy there about the woman making 80 to 100 grand a year, and you're talking about the girls that's at McDonald's that's on fries or taking your order from the drive-thru.
You all right? Hold on, Captain. You good? Hope she had no accident driving.
She sounded like something happened.
Captain, you good? She about to stop the damn live stream. All right.
Hopefully she's doing, God willing, she's doing fine, because I don't want nothing to happen to nobody. But when you're dealing with that analogy with the 80 to 100 grand a year, and you're talking about the girl on fries or at the drive-thru at McDonald's, if the girl on fries at the drive-thru at McDonald's, to me, good looks has a little bit to do with it, but more that affects me at my age and experience right now is whether she's agreeable and whether she has a feminine disposition.
Mm-hmm.
And she can follow my lead. Now, someone that make $80,000 to $100,000 a year, that's great. But not often are women going to want to chip in and pay that much. Like I said, they want a man they can look up to. And after a while, like I said, they can say, and people are going to say, oh, well, I feel that a woman can do as I feel, and a man shouldn't be intimidated. Honest to goodness, if she's making more than you are, like I said, she's not gonna respect you at the end of the day, and eventually she's gonna come with, well, I made this or I made that or whatever, and she's gonna want to overstep her boundaries because it's nature. It's not that she's a bad woman; she's just a woman. So yeah, to that, and once we step into that arrogant or that mouthy frame of mind or that head shaking, that eye rolling, that finger snapping, all that bullshit. I'm done with that. Right off the rip, because your money, I don't care how much money you make, that's not going to help my process one bit at all. When you're being an obstinate, combative woman, I'd rather deal with that woman that's willing to work with me for my process and be submissive and do what's natural, because the looks are one thing, but it's more about the disposition, man, and the role she plays in my life. So.
All right, Mike, what you got on this money making thing? Should women feel like if they make a certain amount of money? Because I know we call them 49ers. It'd be fours thinking they nines because they make $100,000 and they think they should get a 10 as a man. So
that's a good one right there. I'm gonna have to use that, but I'm gonna just say this: like, if you're dealing with somebody and they're letting the money define them and how they should be treating other people, I think that right there is ultimately going to end up leading them to, once again, as Kevin Samuels will say, you're going to die alone, because you're letting the money define you and how you want to be in that relationship, and you're not really looking at it from a relationship point of view, dealing with that whole situation. I'd rather deal with a chick that's broke, that's actually working on herself, that has a nice attitude, and, she hits the gym from time to time, but I would like her to hit the gym more often. But other than that, I wouldn't really deal with a chick that has a bad attitude, that has, I don't give a fuck how much money you make. Money doesn't define me. Why? Because I make my own. And just like how I make my own money, I can make my own way. As soon as she goes ahead with that bullshit, I'll make my own way right out the fucking door to somebody else. Right. And that's the bottom line, because that's just the way that it is. You can't let the money, if she feels like she wants to come out of line, go ahead. Let her deal with a broke dude. Let her control them. But you will not control me.
Facts. All right. Tay, what you got on? Do you think money make a woman feel like she can get more than what she's asking for?
I mean, I think, Rich and Mike kind of both hit on it. And I say it like this: the conversation changes between people who make, let's say, $30,000 and less compared to somebody who's making $80,000 and above. You kind of hear the difference in the numbers. You're like, well, what's the conversation change? When you're making a certain amount of money, you get around other people making the same amount of money, the conversation changes. I remember when we was in high school, we talked about dumb shit. We talked about snapping girls, bras, grabbing an ass, going to the game, going to the movies. Cool. Nobody really was tripping on, like, bills and daycare and fucking mortgages and shit like that. And then, as time goes on, I get the person that says, he said, I make X amount of dollars, I want this. But like they said before, the reason why somebody else is secure enough to say I can deal with somebody who's making less is because, like what was already said, I got me. I can handle me. You come in here, I don't need what you really necessarily got, like as far as your, finances or your materialistic shit. Most men always had that thought. I got my car. I got me somewhere to stay. If they're an actual man. I'm saying a man as you on your own square, you own your own program and all that stuff.
So I had a question for the guys. If you had two women that one woman looks good, let's say she's a 9, and then you got one that's a 7, but the 7 makes $40K and the 9 makes $80K, but the 9 is entitled and the 7 is cooperative. Which one y'all picking? I'm gonna start with Rich.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this, man. My 6 makes way less than my 8 does, and as a matter of fact, she makes less than the youngest one does. But and the youngest one is a 8. But the mid one, she's a 6. She's a 6, man. Hey, that's this ain't the streets or whatever. But if we was talking about the streets, that's my bottom bitch. Okay, that's the one that I lean on right there. That she's only a 6. Well, like I said, man, that doesn't make see, the thing is with me is I understand what everyone's viewpoints are on things and how they feel about things. But this right here is a matter more or less not about tax bracket, but about maturity and what you want out of it.
Facts. It's more about how she makes you feel. And at the end of the day, what the point I was trying to make for us men, we go off of, we have our own money. We're not going to go off of your money.
Nope.
And that's the point. What you want to say, Mike, about that?
Hey, Stack, did you miss me already? Did I miss you asking me? Because I sure want to comment on that.
Oh yeah,
I'll wait for my turn.
After Mike talk, then we're gonna come back to you. My bad. We got you.
I gotta hear this shit.
What's up, Mike? What you feel? What you feel, Mike? You feel the same way? We don't worry about woman's money. We just worry about her cooperation.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it. You couldn't have said it better yourself, man. Like the shit is that deep. I'd rather go with somebody who I'm compatible with. It doesn't necessarily have to be the comparison on how much each one makes. And as far as that entitlement shit, man, a chick come to me with that shit, I'm gonna send her ass back to the streets. Hit the fucking button like you've been dismissed. Streets. That's it. You're going right back. Same way you came.
Catherine, what you got to say? And then I go back to Tate with the last word on this topic.
Okay, what I want to say about that is that I don't know if everybody really thinking about this because, you know, I hear this a lot, and even from the Kevin Samuels that, you know, a woman, if she a certain type of way, she gonna die alone or whatever. It's somebody for everybody out here. So if this woman is overweight, she ain't the size for you, you don't like her for whatever reason, her look, her body, just because you don't like her don't mean there's some man out here that ain't gonna like her. Regardless of the age, it could be an age or whatever, it's gonna be somebody that's gonna deal with that woman. You might not want her, but somebody gonna want her. So my thing is, what might not work for you might work for somebody else. So at the end of the day, I know he say that and he go with that, you're going to die alone, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. That's in a person's mind. If a person put that in their mind and they going to die alone, then yeah, you will put that in your mind and you will. You won't have nobody. But if you not thinking in that kind of way and you going on, God is going to send you somebody your way. And then all the men who didn't want this woman because she made this amount of money or she was this certain size, that don't mean some other man ain't gonna come along and say, you know what, that's the woman for me. So at the end of the day, with each man, for what they said, well, this ain't gonna work, this woman ain't gonna want her, she can go on or whatever. It's some man out there that's gonna take that woman.
So, Catherine,
I'm gonna say this. Hold on. I'm gonna say this. Catherine, I know you mean well. But there are some people out there that, you know, they don't have the concept of what it is to be in a relationship. You know, they have no respect for the relationship. They just want to control. I know. I've been there before. But we were just talking about the women that want to be entitled and that want to prejudge and that just want to go about in a relationship, saying it's a relationship when they're just going about it being an asshole. We're talking about those. Those are the ones that are going to die alone. We're not talking about the women that actually, you know, have a good personality, that actually may have a certain kind of weighty features or BBWs. Now, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the assholes that think that they're over.
Put that very, very well, because that's the whole thing that Mr. Samuels, when he's talking about that thing, means. And Catherine, I can see why you're irate about it, because it sounds really, really harsh. But when he says that, when you listen to everything that's involved, that's a situation where you're talking about a woman. The reason you say she's going to die alone is because you listen to what the woman wants and what she won't accept. You got to understand that we all have a certain worth and a certain this. And yes, there's someone for everyone. But those women that he's telling that to, after you listen to the interview, they're talking about how they've gotten rid of 1, 2, 3, 4 men that have been good for them, but they've ended the relationship. So, see, that's the whole thing. If you have a standard that's way, way, way too high, then yeah, you better start shopping for cat food because you're gonna die alone.
Yeah. Catherine.
We don't. We're not talking about the good woman like you. We're talking about the woman that said, well, if he ain't doing this and he ain't got this, I don't want to deal with him. If he's making a certain amount and he's working, I still don't want him. I want a dude that makes 100,000. Now, why are you saying that when you're looking like Bullwinkle?
And there's no
So that's my question. That's my question to Catherine is, man can actually let himself go and make 100,000 and get a beautiful woman. You don't see that on the other side when a woman make 100,000 and she can get a man that's a 10. But it don't even matter if she get a man with a 10, because what Kevin Samuels mostly say, she want a man with 10, make as a 10, and she's overweight and he look good and gotta have 6-pack abs. So basically some of the shit is delusional. When people make a certain amount of money in the tax bracket, they don't realize you can't carry none of that shit to the cemetery. You need to pair bond with somebody that's going to love you for you and keep it moving.
Right, but can I say something to that? I get what y'all said, and I respect everything that y'all said, and you're right. I will agree with that. There are some women out there that's like that, and I totally agree with you all on that. But let's go back. You say that could be a man and he may not be a 10. He could be overweight and all this, and he could still get that woman. He might can get that woman with that money, and with his money and stuff, but that woman can still cheat on him as well.
Oh yeah.
It happens all the time. Like a man can be there and he might not be the best looking man, he may not have the best body, and he could get this woman that may be a 10 or whatever, and she'll get with him and be with him, but she also cheat on him.
But I'm just
exceptions to the rule. We're not talking about exceptions, we're talking about the general rule.
Yeah, but the general rule is women go after finances, men go after beauty. Right? Am I right? Am I wrong?
Facts.
Majority, I ain't say all women, because some women can't bear to look at her. If he ugly, she can't bear to look at him. But if he ugly and got money, some women can bear to look at him.
Statistics speak for themselves, man.
They go the same. That's what I'm saying, though. That's the point I was trying to make. It's the same way with a woman. Even if that woman ain't that attractive or something, it's going to be somebody the same way. Vice versa is what I'm saying.
There's exceptions to it. That's not the general rule, though. Statistics still say that it's more on the man's side than on the women's when it comes to when it comes to them dollars.
Yeah. Because women, I ain't gonna lie, women, when they make all that money and they get to that point and they don't realize it's only 10% of the population that's making the money you making as man, and don't let them be black man, then you're gonna have to date somebody that make less money most of the time. And I ain't saying all, but it's gonna be, especially if you in your late 30s or something. Come on, let's just be real. You making $150,000 a year. What man just gonna walk up and make $150,000 a year that got no kids, perfect, all that shit you want? So you put yourself in the category. If you scale yourself for money, you're not gonna find true love. So I'm gonna go Tate. How you feel, Tate, about this?
I think hit all the points. Here's the thing, right? Life ain't fair. Life is what it is. It's just. Money does certain things for certain people. I think money tends to help men to attract, certain items, i.e. women. It attracts others with money. It attracts business offers. And with women, I think money does the same thing. It attracts a certain type of element. Hey, because, Catherine, I say it like this. I know a lot of rich men that got maintenance mans around because they don't care about the nigga who don't have money, because all she wants him for is his body. So it does work both ways. It's just, you have to understand, or anybody has to understand that, like, money does certain things when you want certain stuff. I think to even rich things, men typically have never had an issue going in their pockets to pay for it. Let's say entertainment. Entertainment is fun. It's what we do. We go to the ball games, go to the golf course, go to the strip club, we go to the nightclub, we buy bottles. But what to have fun, have a good time. So if I want to spend money, let's say on a woman, regardless if I'm paying for her body or I'm paying for her presence, that's just a part of it. And I think we have to stop looking at like what somebody else can do with their bag and not focus on what you can do with yours. And I think that's just what it is.
Facts. Facts. All right, well, we're going to move on the next topic because that was a deep one, the money-making thing. But another thing that we don't really look at in the community is abuse. And if I was to go outside right now and see a man cussing a woman out, you will see a bunch of people saying, stop cussing her out. And then it was vice versa. If she was cussing his ass out, everybody stay out the business, be like, what did he do? So I'm going to start with Mike on this one. I feel like women can be just as much as verbal abusive than men just being abusive. I think it go both ways, but I don't think we look at it, eye to eye, like, because verbal abuse is just as bad. And let's just be honest, on top of verbal abuse, a woman could put a man in jail by saying you raped me. So I'm going to talk to Mike about this. How you feel about this, Mike? Mike, you there? We'll go to Rich. What you got on this abuse thing, Rich?
Man, you go. You make me want to just hang up, because this whole thing gonna make people mad, man.
Hey, here's what it is.
Once again, I'm gonna talk from statistics, man. This is not what I think or what I feel like, But if a woman is cussing a man out outside, like you said, people are gonna, hey, what did that cat do? He just must have messed up. I don't know what he did. I feel sorry for him. But guess what? He cussed her out for something. She could have just went and slept with his brother and his cousin. Or she could have done anything, steal some money from him. If you get him cussing her out, you might not get nobody just taking her side. You might get some people to step to you and want to attack. You might get some white want to come to her rescue, and then you end up got to defend yourself, man. That's how people gets out. And when you're dealing with someone that has made false accusations, there's a lot, and we're talking statistically. Again, this is not what I think or what I feel. You got women that not verbally, physically abuse men. They call for police help because you're not supposed to hit them back. You're not even supposed to hold them. If you hold them in place, that's containment. That's physical abuse. That can be viewed as kidnapping, okay, because you're holding them against their will. You call the police come, they ignore the guy. They laugh it off. Oh, do you have somewhere else to go spend the night? Okay, but a woman can call and just say that she's been abused and not have a mark on her, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up in cuffs. You're going to end up in the back of a squad car. This is not what I think. This is not what I feel. This is what happens statistically. Look it up. Now, when a woman goes to the court, to the magistrate or whatever, and says, "No, he really didn't attack me. He really didn't do anything to me. He didn't sexually assault me or whatever." Nothing happens to her. Nothing at all. A lot of times the state will still pick up those charges and investigate it and try to prosecute. But if a man, he makes a false statement about something in court, perjury charge, and he's going to do some time just for lying to a law official. But they don't get anything for making false accusations. So, yes, am I speaking on it as a big? I'm a little emotional in speaking to it because this is a double. This is the first topic on this show today that I do find a double standard statistically. Mm-hmm. Because the same thing is imbalance when it comes to men and women. As far as this harassment thing or this abuse type of deal, man, it's looked upon as a joke for men. And there's a great number of men that get abused. Believe it, I'm talking about physically abused. I'm talking about getting knives pulled on them, getting hit with hands. And women have gotten so willy-nilly in the past few years, in the past 10 years specifically, to where they think they could go ahead and just hit you like a dude. And you got so bad that they try to do it out in public. And more that, it gets caught on camera, but it's still not prosecuted. So that's
they'll say you got a whole, honestly, with the whole shit, as far as with the legal system and the judicial system, you got to hold those ones accountable. If they're not willing to do anything about it, you take it to a higher court, federal court. But they're not doing whatever it is that they're supposed to do, that they're not holding themselves accountable for. That's the equal standard of the justice system. You know, you go to risk management if you're going to sue and they don't do anything about it. And they say, well, you know, it's nothing. Oh, yes, it is something. I told you what to do. And it's your fiduciary duty to make sure that I'm not harmed as far as the United States Constitution of America. Not to get on the legal, but if you're going to sue somebody, you take that shit straight to risk management. If they ain't doing nothing about it, and that way you got a huge case. I'm talking millions.
If that can happen, Mike, on the Outliers, but Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby will tell you a lot different.
Yep, you're right. And T.I.
That's about money.
Oh, shit. All right, Catherine, what you got on the verbal, the abuse thing with the verbal abuse from women and, you know, physical abuse from women? You got anything on that, Catherine?
I totally agree. Now that is everything that Rich said, I totally agree with. And that's about the only I'm not saying that's the only thing, but I do totally agree with him because there is a double standard with women being abusive to men. So, and I know it's not because, you know, it looks like the man is supposed to be strong and take anything, you know, from a woman, and that's not right. Because there's some men that's brought up to not hit a woman, and a woman knows that man is not like that and won't, you know, hit back and stuff, and they just take advantage of that. So I definitely agree. I'm not going to disagree on anything with that because I've seen it done. It's happened to my brothers, and I know it happens, and I've seen it even with friends. So I totally agree with that.
All right, Tate, you got anything on a double standard with the abuse thing?
No, I think y'all hit it out the park. I think it's kind of it's funny, not in a laughing way, but it's just funny how people act one way with people. Okay, let me say it this way: women want men to be open and shit, and then when they open up, they use the shit against them. You know, I'm talking about the domestic shit, the verbal shit. Same way with men, you know, you got this woman, because it's funny, here's a funny thing where I say funny. Each man and woman in those situations know who the person they're with. They also know who they won't hit. I know there's certain men who beat women who won't touch another woman because that woman will fire back at him and whoop his ass. Just like there's certain women who will abuse one man, but they won't abuse the next man because they know the next guy will, you know, handle them. It's just it's amazing that people put themselves in that situation. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that before I move on to the next thing? All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is cheating. You know, at the end of the day, it could be a double standard, but a lot of times and I know Rich could touch on this, and I know Rich could touch on this. Like for me, when I got back on the market, I will, you know, approach women, talk to them. They'll ask me, you know, what's going on? You single? Yeah, I'm single. I was married for 8 years, and then they'll just come at me like, just looking at me, just say, you must have cheated. So I want Big Rich to take this one because it seemed like people will accuse you of cheating on what you look like, or if you broke the marriage off, or a marriage didn't work out. Did you get this type of experience, Rich, when you met women and they found out that you was married? Did they assume that you was a cheater?
All the time, brother. All the time. It was so. And that had a lot to do with me actually. My behavior, a lot of it. We talked about my behavior after that time, man. And he had to go into therapy. It was because a lot of that, and that made me start second guessing myself. Wasn't something I'm doing wrong. I'm looking in the mirror, not liking what I see because of the way I look. But you know, these women would always say, "I know you was the one that was messing up. It wasn't her." But look, man, I was at work all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was in two doggone busy in a shop full of hard legs too, with no women working around me. So it was a thing, man, where people don't believe you. They always think the worst of men because that's the narrative that's put out here in the media.
Mm-hmm.
That's your girl Oprah and Gayle King and all them old.
And like just like the Maury show, if a man come on there to take a lie detector test and she accused him of cheating, as soon as he come on the show, they booing, screaming, all that. Then when he passed the test, everybody looking stupid.
Ain't that something? That's a good example right there, man. And they do all that hoopla and whatever, but it's always an old nasty, scandalous bitch crying and running backstage because she can't remember which one of 10 men that she slept with.
And then when she runs to the corner, she's always all bent over. I'm like, nah, don't bend over now. You gotta take this one for the feet.
Stand up and take it on the chin. But yeah, that's a big old double standard, man. You know, so you get accused of a whole lot of things. Like I say, I'm not no angel, and I did a whole lot of things to where I was that guy on the side and did that old low vibrational, very immoral and very depraved behavior. But I was always accused of, what was you when people would find out that I was divorced or whatever? They would ask me about, well, who'd you get caught with, or how did you get? Man, I could get caught with a she cheated on me, huh? Even men would ask me that. Well, damn, how did she catch me doing nothing?
Yeah.
You know?
Damn, Catherine, how you feel? I know you had a marriage before, and when you met men, did they say did you cheat or he cheat? Did you get that vibe from the man asking did you cheat or those questions?
Well, most men, they always feel like he said, they, like Rich said, they ask, did he cheat? Because, at the end of the day, like we all know, it's more, I know y'all saying y'all surprised to hear that or whatever, that it's most of the time that it's always the man cheat when sometimes it's actually the women that cheat. But, like, let's be real, just keep it real. Like, most of the time it is the man cheat.
It's 40-60. I gave you the statistic the last live we had. 60% women, 40% men. You can look it up online.
Well, you know what? I'm not one for statistics and stuff, so I'm just going to stay with mine, and I respect what you say or whatever, and the statistic or whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't agree with that statistic or whatever. Y'all can go on with that, but at the end of the day, like I said, men do cheat, and they're the ones with the more stronger sexual appetite. Can't be with one woman. You've already said that yourself, Rich, for whatever reason.
That's right, baby, and I got 3 women, and I don't cheat on none of them.
But you got 3 women, so why not? That would just be greedy. Like, come on now.
That's not cheating on them, because if you ask them, they'll all tell you that I can't give that nigga everything he wants.
I hear that too.
He wanted too much, girl. Thank you.
The men's sexual appetite. So at the end of the day, it should not be surprising. It should not be surprising that women would think that the man cheated. Anybody would think, because most of the time it is the men that cheated, because they have so much more of a desire and need so much more. So
this is a fucking interesting debate, man. I want to break out the fucking popcorn right now.
Exactly. When all these boys that they can't even tell you who is their baby's father, but it's the men that's all cheating, right? Right. Yeah. I love you, Catherine.
Yeah, I know you do, but I was like, listen, I'm the only female here, and I wish it was some other females that would call in, and get a perspective. But
I was listening to them, and I was respect them for their lies they telling too, baby.
But then that's fine. But we all gonna feel a certain type of way. And I guess from my from my experience and my other friends' experience, I've listened and seen the things that went on in my own life and what went on with my friends and stuff, and even my family members. I've seen how things was. So men, at the end of the day, men do cheat. And
hold on, I got another caller coming in. I got another caller coming in. Hold on. Hello, what's going on? Welcome to the show, new caller. Who's calling?
Donnell Anderson.
How you doing, Donnell?
Oh, I can't complain, brother. I couldn't help but to hear the topic on cheating, man. That's what made. I was actually just watching until they got it to. I heard Catherine and the other brother discussing it. You know, I'm almost have to lean toward the Catherine on that one because a lot of times, you know, I heard the brother say, you know, a lot of women don't know who their kids father, but that don't necessarily mean that they were cheating. They could have been in a committed relationship and they left, but not the ones that don't know who the baby father is. Yeah, you can go with that one. But as far as cheating, a lot of the time, honestly, it is the man. A lot of the time. But, you know, we ain't saying that the women don't because women do cheat.
Yeah. Where you get those statistics from, Big Rich?
That's a good question.
But let's just be honest though. It's more women. It's 2 more million. It's about what 2 more million women in the world than men.
That's what they say.
Yeah, it is more women in the world than men. But you can look at blackstatistics.com. You can look at there's.
I think it's 26 on blackstatistics.com. It's 26% of men cheat and 24 for women, but it's more women than men.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when the last I looked, it was 60-40.
Oh.
And I gotta look. I do have it down in my notes here, and I forget what that site was that Kevin Samuels goes off of. But it's a 60-40 thing. And yes, men cheat. We're not talking about absolutes. We're talking in generalities here. And the scales tip, ding, 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 women win that. Once again, my brother, I appreciate your contribution and respect you for that. And of course, Catherine, no, I love you, sis. This is not, but see, when I have discussions, I'm not talking about what I've experienced in my own life. If I talk about just the things that happen in my own life, I would have a skewed disposition about a whole lot of topics. But what I'm talking about is facts, not what I think or what my position is or what I feel. Women talk about feelings. I'm a man. I talk about facts and things I know.
It is a fact, though, that men do cheat. They do cheat.
What's your source?
You know what?
Hold on, guys.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I want to ask him a question. This is what he keeps talking about. Facts, right? And what he done, he's basing what he called facts on statistics, which who gathered those statistics and how did they do it? You can't always look and say, oh, because they say this, then that's what it is. How can you call it fact unless you did the statistic yourself? Unless you did it yourself, you can't say that it's facts because you don't know how they went about getting it. Typically, if they did it by 10 people, and then they say out of the 10 people we spoke to, it was 5 of them, 6 of them was men that cheated, and 4 was women. You can't make that the statistics for the whole world. So how can you base anything on facts unless you know? Facts is based upon what you know. You don't actually know that, brother. All you going off is what you hear and what you see. Basically, if I wanted to go off that, then let's just be honest. When you're dealing with racism and everything, how you know those people who did that wasn't male chauvinists? How you know they wasn't women that's mad at men and what they done is try to say, hey, all the women, you gotta consider the source of wherever you got your information from. So you just can't make that to be factual. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, but everybody.
I appreciate your position.
But I'm gonna say this to y'all. Everybody got their perspective, and I'm gonna ask the brother that just came on. You been married before or in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
in between time of your relationship, when you approach women to find another relationship, and you tell them that you was in a marriage or whatever it may be, do most women ask you, was it infidelity involved?
Man, no. I'm being like That's a question that never came up. Not that I can recall, to be honest. But
so a woman ain't never assumed that you could have cheated in your previous relationship when she didn't know you?
No, they only ask what happened. What happened to your marriage? Why did it end? They don't never assume. I don't think the first assumption is cheating. I think sometimes a woman would probably they want to ask what happened, and then later on they'll be like, Have you ever cheated on anyone? Have you ever cheated on anyone? I think that would be a question they ask, but like I don't think that infidelity would be the first like assumption that's made. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think that and with me, that has never been. They will be talking and they'll be like, what happened with you? You ever been married? Yeah, what happened? And then you go into telling them, but then after that, I don't think it ever went into that question.
Okay, so have you ever cheated on a woman?
Man, yes, I have, yes.
Okay, so basically what we're trying to say, the double standard is men are looked on more from women and men when it's a breakup in a relationship, that the man is the main cheater. That's what we're trying to get, because we don't want to get lost in the sauce by going back and forth with statistics. Would you agree with that?
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you this. When you say that, are you saying as far as conversation that comes, like, because I can't see, like, say, if I met a woman, right, and we started dating and we talk, we're not dating, but we just talking. I just never seen where have you ever been a cheat? I mean, it have been a question, have you ever cheated before? That have been a question, but not right off. I don't think anybody I haven't met a woman that have ever assumed that looked at. Now, I have women look at me and say, you look like you a player. You a player.
Okay, but when a woman say that to you, she basically saying you're a cheater. That's why I'm saying, okay. That's why this is a double standard, because women will look at your appearance, and if you're groomed well and you look like you should be off the market, they will call you shaming names as a cheater, player. Same. I think a cheater and a player is the same thing. How you feel about that, Tate? I'm gonna go. Go ahead, Tate.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same thing. I mean,
I'm gonna come back to you, brother. Now go ahead, Tate. Now I was just told the brother I'm gonna come back to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's all semantic. I don't call a woman a hoe or a bitch, but I can say she's free. She's a free spirit, or the new term is dots and whatever. I mean, it's the same thing, man. I mean, people try to act like or sweep stuff under the rug to make it a less of a blow, but it's still the same thing, man. I mean, shit. Yeah. My thing is, like I said, I always go to this. Whoever you are, be that. If you a hoe, be the best hoe you can be. If you a slut, be the best slut you can be. Because at the end of the day, you got to deal with the choices you make when you lay your head down. And what somebody else thinks about what you do, that's on them. They're not you. I mean, if you want to do better, you do. If you know better, you do better. As they always say.
All right. So, brother, if a woman come in and call you a player, do you really take her serious by assuming that you look like a player? Because to me, that's a loser's mindset for a woman to don't know you to just assume.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What's your name again? I got so many. Darnell?
Yes.
All right, Darnell, if a woman asks you as a player, are you vetting her? Are you really gonna take her serious if she's asking that you look like a player, or do you just trust that? To me, that's a red flag. I don't know. Do you take that as a red flag?
No, actually, brother. I know. When I was asked that, I laughed because it's the way I take it, brother, is the reason women sometimes ask that, because that you have a swagger about yourself. It's something about you that whether it's your swagger, your confidence, it's something in you, or she see in you that. Normally, because people are drawn from what they look at on TV or what they see, or what they quote, how a player acts, right? So they take that and they take your swagger and they just ask, are you a player? I don't think it's really a negative thing to me. I don't take it as a negative thing. I would laugh it off and I'd be like, nah, what makes you say that?
So,
and the next question is something about, I don't know, it's just, and it just.
So let me ask you something. I don't want to cut you. I don't want you to keep going, but those women that assume you're a player, do you have successful relationships with them?
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't with them right now today.
Okay, but what the point I want to make to you is women that assume a man is a player is just triggered because she's triggered off your swag compared to a man that played her in the past.
That's true.
So
not only that too. That also pushes a red flag, and I'm glad that you mentioned that too, Stats, because I actually went through something like this similar to myself. She thought of me to be a player, right? But she was projecting her insecurities of what the last man or maybe the other brothers that she was dealing with dealt with her in her past. So that pushed that off towards me or maybe everyone else that she previously dated. And that shit could be a potential problem later on down the line when she may suspect you of cheating, even though you may have not.
Let's just be honest. Everybody's gonna come to the table with some type of baggage. And if you prejudging somebody, for somebody, that means you're not coming in good faith. Because if you're not coming in good faith, you're never gonna recognize your blessings. So little sly stuff like that, you're a player, did you cheat? That's the wrong mindset to sit here and say, I'm going to take this woman or this man serious. I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah, because a lot of times that when they turn around and they talk to you and tell you about you being a player, they identify you as a player. That's the equal of calling you a fuckboy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
I disagree with that.
You can disagree, brother. That's cool, but a lot of times it may not be the same. Because I heard what you said, and it wasn't that way in your case. But I'm telling you, what a lot of women do think, and they equate that with being a fuckboy because that's someone because the player has hurt her in the past.
Yeah, let's ask Catherine. Catherine, you're a woman.
Right. I was wondering when you was gonna come to me. And I'm gonna tell you, if a woman is asking you if you are a player or whatever, did you cheat or something? Like Donnell said, there may be something about you, something that you give off, a presence that may be. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, maybe that might be a trigger. That lets you know that maybe that woman has dealt with a guy like that, and maybe you giving off a vibe or something about you makes her think that you could be. So don't take that as being a negative thing just because a woman asks you that. If a woman asks you that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. She's just trying to see where your head is, see your answer, your response. That's like her little betting thing to see what you're going to do, what your response going to be. So don't ever take that as a negative thing. Because if a woman says it's just something about you in some kind of way that may be a reminder to her, or something she's been through, or maybe just something she's seen on TV or something like that.
But is that dating? Is that dating with a clear mind by calling somebody names? If I told a woman, I told a woman you look like a gold digger, you think she gonna take me serious? I'm just being honest. That's the same level.
Listen, it's men do the same thing to women. If it's a woman that they feel like is a 10 or something, that they look that really beautiful, they ask, but then I know you got a lot of men. Men do it to women too. Oh, I know you got a lot of dudes after you. And that's the same thing. The wording might be different. Men do the same thing to a really attractive woman with a nice body or whatever. They do the same thing.
Right. But it's not necessarily negative when she's saying that, but I'll tell you one thing she is out of pocket. Okay, because she should be listening more than she talking. And that's brother. Wait.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on, we'll come back to you, Darnell. Let him say what he gonna say, man.
Yes, sir. Approaching a man with that kind of disposition, you out of pocket as a broad. Period.
I'm sorry, Stack. I'm just laughing. Brother, I love to ask you, brother. Let me ask you. I gotta ask you a question, man. This is just for me. How do you feel about? One thing you said this. You say if a in your presence or she out on a lunch with you, then obviously she don't think you a fuckboy because she went out on a date with you. So that's the funny thing. So I'm led to believe you have like this thing against women because I've heard you use the word, even before I called in, I heard you use the word God. It's because I heard you use the word God. I even heard you use the word abuse. I heard you use these words which is it shows a negative how do you say it, Stack, like a negative something toward you angry, like it's like a
Well, I don't think he angry. I think he, hold on.
I don't have a whole lot of problems, but women isn't one of my problems. I don't have a lot of problems with a whole lot of things. I have a lot of problems with people making excuses for themselves. Is what I have. I have a lot of problems with people trying to perpetrate the fraud. I have a lot of problems with people lying to themselves about things, brother. But I'm 100%.
So do you think it's women that do it? Or you saying women do that a lot? Do you feel like that? That women do that a lot? Because
I'm saying women do it. I said an alternative way to think about it. When a lot of them come to you, that's what they're thinking about you because that's
brother. Okay, I
got respect.
Yeah, well, what he trying to say, Darnell?
My name is Rich. My name is not Player. My name is Rich.
So yeah, Darnell. What he trying to say is, and what I was trying to say. Anytime when a person just don't know you and they could be joking, but if that's the first thing they say, then it's a red flag. Now, if y'all talking and y'all getting to know and you could tell that it's a vibe and the woman say, "You sure you're not a player?" That's different. That's joking. But if you coming out the gate, you a player, you cheated on your girl without explanation or understanding that man's vibe or his character or that woman's character, that's shaming language. That's a person that's hurt people. So that's what we saying. I get what Catherine's saying, but Catherine, if a man come out leading with that, you're a player before they get to know you, then what's the purpose of getting to know that person? But if y'all...
Can I say something to Rich for that? Because I just want to tell him as a woman, and a woman, if she think that you a real woman is not, I don't think no chick really is gonna deal with you if she think you a fuckboy for real. Like that right there. If you think if a woman asks you a question like that, then and she continue to deal with you, then it's something really wrong. It's a mental thing with that woman because women ain't
like that. I'm not dealing with her. This is not someone I know. We're talking about someone that approaches you and come out the pocket like that. That's what the topic was about.
You know what, Rich? I'm your sister. Now listen, I've been there. I've had guys there. Have they cheated? I don't ask them. If they tell me they've been in a relationship, depending on the person, I might have done asked the question and that kind of sort. But that don't mean that I got bad intentions. I'm already thinking bad of that man or whatever. But I'm just trying to figure out. Maybe I just want to hear his answer. I'm saying for future. I know you got your women you deal with or whatever, but for another man out here, I don't want men.
I ain't got them all, girl. I'm coming to Texas. I'm gonna get you before it's all over.
Oh, okay. I hear you. But if there's another man out there, if a woman asks you that does not mean that she think you a fuckboy or something like that. She just probably want to know, see what your answer gonna be, or something within you shows her something that maybe she's seen. But if that woman is not with you and she continue to go out with you, she's interested. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hey, let's don't forget we got other people on the panel. What you feel about this argument, Mike? Or let me see, Tate. What you feel about this argument, Tate?
I'm here. I'm sorry. I had this shit on mute because there's a lot of noise going on in the background. It's a very interesting debate, man. I've seen it. I think honestly, it's all about how people take it. One individual, they may not take you seriously. Me personally, in my honest opinion, I don't think they take you seriously if they ask you that question. But then I've seen other, chicks that may be insecure about themselves that'll ask that question to see just what your response is going to be. So I agree with both sides, but mainly Richard's side, because I've been asked that question before, and I'm like, why the fuck would you ask me that shit? Like, when did this come up? And then in my response is, I really won't want to fuck with them, because if they think of me like that, then they think very lowly of me.
Tate, what you got to say about this? If a person come at you out the gate and shaming you, or
Okay. Here's the thing, right? A lot of things are said as jokes because people can't handle the seriousness or the realization of what they're saying. So when somebody comes out the gate at you trying to make a joke, trying to be like funny with some shit, I really take it as offensively, because it's just like you really can just say the shit or act these flat out. Trying to make it light of a situation that is very serious on both ends, whether it's you asking a question or you want me to give you an honest answer and you trying to make light of it, it makes me look at you sideways. So I feel like this. Don't play around with shit that you don't want to be played around with. If you want to know the dude is a player or not, say, hey, listen, how do you handle your women? Or when keep it like it's like keep it serious. You want somebody to be serious with you, keep it serious. You try to be light with some shit and be playful, and this is on both sides, because it ain't just men or just women, but this is both sides. If you want to inject that shit, you can also put it, you injecting all other types of shit into it too. Like, my thing is, man, like, we can stop playing these games, because we're playing these word games with each other, knowing damn well what we're trying to say is like, yo, is you doing this or you not? Just ask.
Facts. All right. Anybody else got something to say about this player thing?
I got a question. I just want to say to everybody that's on the panel that is commenting that I respect all of y'all for your viewpoints and whatever. To me, this is not a debate. This is a discussion, and I'm just giving you the flip side of the coin. That's all. We just talking. Each one, we all learning from each other. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So peace be on to all of you.
Hey, Stack, I'd like to say, what the brother just got through saying prior to Rich. One thing I agree totally with what he said, but it's out to me. I think it gets to the point where men are. This just in my opinion. If the brother said one important thing, just be real. So. Isn't she being real by asking you that question? Isn't she just getting it all out there in the forefront? Like, man, let me ask you this. What if she asks you about your credit from the jump? Then you going to think she'll gold digger? No, she just want to know how your financial state is. If you good with money, if a woman is interested, or if you're interested.
Business off the joke.
Listen, wait a minute, brother. Let me finish. What I'm saying is like the brother said, if you're going to be interested in someone, you want to know. Those are things you want to know and you need to know about the individual. You want to know if they're a cheater. You want to know if they're a player, if she's a gold digger. These are things you want to know and you need to know from a jump. You don't want to be in some months.
Not on the first, man.
Yeah. So how come? I mean, let me ask you this:
But
what makes it not acceptable from the jump? Because we say it's not acceptable. What makes it unacceptable?
Because I got standards, because I'm a man. That's why. I'm a man.
But we ain't talking. We all men. But what I'm saying is,
she don't deserve it. You got to earn that kind of access to me. That's why.
yeah.
Let me ask you this. So, what if you get in a relationship and you just not for all that, and you wanna, if you serious, and you're interested in that woman. You're going to want to know what this woman is about. You're going to want to know what she about because you're serious and you ain't with all the games. So you might be that man that say, listen, man, I'm not with the games. I want to get it out front. Let me just ask you because I want to be straight up with you. And you go down
Hey, Darnell, hold on, bro.
Women, they have to qualify themselves to me.
Hold on, Darnell. Hey, I'm gonna say that. Hey, I'm gonna say something to all the men on the panel. Whatever role you cast a woman, she'll play that fucking role. So you can't come in saying I'm gonna be serious, and she might be the neighborhood hoe. So you gotta trust your discernment as a man to have your tests and your boundaries on your standards from the jump. You just can't go in and say I want a wife and just make her a wife because everything look good on paper ain't good. But
That's
if
not what we.
but if you saying you just coming in saying I'm serious, you have to trust your discernment. You just can't. A woman, if you
Okay, here's the thing, right? But here's what I think, and what I was saying, and I think with this, I can't think of the brother's name, but here's the thing. Right?
Darnell.
It's Darnell, my bad. Good. Here's the thing, right? It's the way you say certain things to get to a certain response. I mean, here's the thing. You got a panel of people who are in different places in different stages in life. All right, maybe Rich doesn't want another wife. Maybe Rich is like, listen, I done been there, done. I got kids your age doing this shit. I don't need for that. Right. So his conversation is totally different than, let's say, me, Tate, who's looking for a wife. Because, like I say, what is your credit score? Because here's my thing. I give you boundaries even in what you ask. Okay, why you asking me about my credit? We're not there yet. What's the rush in it? Because you can still establish boundaries even with the question. But you got to understand, everybody's at different levels. You have a general platform where we're talking about, but we have different places that we're,
But I'm just saying, what I'm saying to the
All right, you cut me off, but I'm saying, like, you gotta understand, everybody's at a different stage, right? But my point was this: you can't let somebody interject some bullshit or playing around trying to go around about saying something. Come out and directly tell me, oh hell, fuck it. I said for me, don't fuck around and try to make some try to tell me some shit, that this sounds nice. Come out and be real. Hey, nigga, what you want? That's how I operate.
I mean, you could be.
I agree.
I would say this. I would say you could be marriage minded when you talking to women or women talking to men. Let them know up front that you marriage minded, but they have to earn the right to know certain things about you. You don't just.
I understand.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying the same thing. Listen to what I'm saying. You can't come at me playing about a serious topic with me, is what I'm saying. You come around about saying I'm a player or a pimp or I got hoes. You come at me like that, I'm looking at you like, what the fuck you think I am? You think I'm a pimp? I can show you a pimp. I can show you that shit. But here's another flip into that.
What you got?
If you want to get a serious conversation with me, if you want to get a serious conversation where you get to know who I am, what I am encompassed with, and where my direction is, you need to have a serious conversation because I'm going to flip it back on you. Because it's like, why the fuck you want to know all this? No,
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Tate. Go ahead, Catherine. Sorry. I heard you, Tate. My bad.
So here I am. I'm the only woman on the panel. We talking about what can be asked and what shouldn't be asked when you first meet somebody. So what I'm trying to understand is when you're meeting someone and you're going out on a date, even if it's the first date, what is so bad about if a woman asks you, are you a player or have you cheated? What's so bad about that?
Right.
We're getting to know each other. Let me finish. How is that so offensive to a man just by asking if we are getting to know each other? Now, if this question comes up later on, once you've been knowing the person, they done got to know you, I can see the offense that coming there. Because by this time, you should know me. You should know the type of man I am. But if a person asks you just off the jump when they meet you, what's so bad about that? I mean, and I ain't no young girl, man. I'm a 41-year-old woman. If I want to ask a man, which I feel like I'm a type, I ain't got to earn to ask you. That sounds crazy as hell. I have to earn to ask the man a question. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Let me ask you this, right? And I'm gonna use you because you're the only woman on the panel. Me and you, we meet. I don't know where we meet at, right? Because it's also about how we meet and where we meet and how we are meeting, right? If I'm meeting you for just having shits and giggles, maybe that's cool. But if I say I meet you, let's say I don't know, at a different spot, like I said, we can play this role, right? Me and you talking. We meet for the first time. We having a conversation. Well, why is it that you will go out with me if you think I'm a player? And I'm asking you.
I'm going to answer you. When you've been finished.
So I'm saying, we're going out. Why would you think I'm a player? If you think I'm a player, why are you going out with me?
You don't somebody I don't know. So I'm giving you the benefit of doubt, just like we do. Stack made a comment. It was like, why would you be so serious with a woman that she could be a neighborhood hoe? Because you don't know. You don't know. You're trying to learn a person. So I'm gonna give this person a chance because I don't know this person. So I'm gonna give you a chance.
Listen to what you said. You want to give them a chance, right? Giving somebody a chance means you get to know them. Not them just say. So asking me a question like, am I a player? Okay, player how? Player who? Player what?
You know, some people got, to me, I think that's like some people got thick skin, some people don't. I don't see this about asking somebody if they a player, if they ever cheated or something like that. I mean, come on. At the end of the day, you asking a question. If you're that damn sensitive over somebody asking a question, it's a damn problem, really.
Right. And you can go ahead and answer it. You can go ahead and feel that way, and that's great. And I respect that. But it's the same thing that women get you. And brother, I'm talking to you too. You and Catherine. Y'all can both say, and listen, this is with the utmost respect, I'm talking to the both of y'all. But I have the right to set my parameters and set my standards, and I shouldn't be questioned about them. And when you say how idiotic or how juvenile you think it is, or whatever other kind of shaming language you want to use, that it would be for a man to think it was a bad thing for a woman to ask him if he's a player, you can just look at the simplistic and stupid reason why women get mad when you ask them what's their age or what dress size they are or how much they weigh. Sometimes they go ape shit. They go nuts.
That is true.
They go bananas. They go bananas and tell you, nigga, what you talking about? How much do I weigh? And give me different. So I can have set standards for myself without the shaming language from a woman or whatever cheerleading section that you buy.
Hold on, I got another call, man. Hopefully there's another woman or something. Hold on, let's see. Oh shit! Damn, I'm about hey, I'm gonna have to call that other number that I got because this shit I got too many people on the line.
Call the other number. What other number?
The iPhone number.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad, guys. Go ahead.
Me, brother. I actually, when I'm hearing the talk and the conversation, I don't take it offensive. If a woman asks me, "Are you a player?" Like if we meet for the first time, everything is vibing right in the way I'm talking to her. If she asks me, "Am I a player?" That's really not. I'm not going to take that offensive at all because I don't look at that as offensive. Now, if she was to say, "Oh, you cheat," or "It seems like you cheat because she look at the way I'm dressed," or something like that, I'm gonna take that offensively. But like somebody asked me, I'm a player. Maybe she want to know because she don't want to deal with no player. She don't want to deal with that. So why not get it out? Why not ask the question? I don't see nothing wrong with it. I won't take it offensively if she asks me because to me, ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, ask some other question. Like even when we talk about, if you're serious about the person you in front of, those are the questions you want to ask. If you're serious about that woman, if you're serious about that man, and you thinking you really feeling them, you better ask that question.
All right. Well, hold on. We got.
You a man of your word. They
might
want to ask you that so she can come back and say, "Well, I asked you this when we first met, and you told me yeah, you told me no." Right.
But hold on now. I got Michelle on the phone now. Michelle, you know what's going on, or you want me to get you up to speed?
Yes, we can.
Do you know what's going on or not?
I don't.
All right, so we got in a heated discussion. If a man approach a woman and a woman and a man's vibing or they meet and she just come off saying you look like a player, I feel like it's offensive and it's a woman coming in bad faith.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's something you should prejudge somebody when you first meet them.
Mm-hmm.
And so Catherine and Darnell feel like it's no big deal with a person doing that, but the other guys on the panel saying that's just like, asking me my credit score or something right away, or saying I'm a cheater or whatever. Do you feel like
that's just like saying, "Oh, you look like a hoe"? I would be offended that you coming at me like that and you don't know me. And if you're trying to get to know me, why would that be your first response, or why would that be the first thing to say to me?
So you're saying why would it be your first concern?
Right, that's the point that we were trying to make. Like, why would you go with me if you think I'm gonna mistreat you and misuse you? Why are you with me?
Yeah.
And I guess we all got discernment, because here's the thing. Let's call it what it is. A spade is a spade. There is rules in sheep's clothing, but at the same time, you also got to present yourself in a certain way. Like, you don't go ask to get boss certain shit. Like, if you're gonna take off, you can't say, boss, I'm gonna take off, but the others don't want to feel like being here. Hey, boss, you know what? I'm gonna use some PTO time. Like, you have a way of going about this shit. That's my whole thing. And like, I think to the other point, you can control the narrative of what comes out, but at the same time, don't get mad how it comes back at you, because you can't let me sideways. That's
like I'm saying, like Stack made a comment. He said, well, you could be dating the neighborhood hoe or whatever. So if a person want to ask a question and they just asking that, you getting to know a person. The first thing, like I said, like we can all agree to disagree. I believe if a person asks that question, that's just a question they want to ask. Whatever reason for that person asking that, I don't know. But I don't think that is an offensive thing. Now, if that person has asked that question and it comes back up at a later time and you bring it up, man, you a cheater or something like that again, and then you could be like, well, I done already told you this or whatever. Why would you ask me that again? I ain't showed you nothing in that kind of way. Why would you ask me that? I can see the offense in that, but being offensive just because a person asks you a question for whatever reason that person feels the need to ask it to you, it's a question. What is a question? A question. Like, people getting bent out of shape for a question?
I mean, everybody got their own set of boundaries. I mean, I feel like if a woman come up to me and say you look like a cheater or hoe, I feel like hurt people. You've been hurt in your past by a guy that looks similar to me, so you put me in that category already. That's how I look at it. That's my discernment. Y'all discernment could be different, Catherine and Darnell. Y'all could be like, well, hell no, I'm not a cheater, and but then you gotta fight the whole time from what they told you in the beginning to prove that you're not. Even if you're not, they might already prejudge that. That's how I feel. Michelle, what you got on that?
I would be offended if somebody came at me like that. I don't know. I don't know if they're asking, are you a player, or if they're saying
they asking it or saying you look like a player. One or the other. It's not a good joke to start off to get to know somebody.
Well, if somebody asks, I look at that. Me personally, look at that different than somebody saying you look like a player. If you coming at me saying, "Oh, you look like this," I will be offended. But if you're asking, are you a player? Like, or I would take that in a jokingly way. I wouldn't really take that serious.
Okay.
If they say that, I would look at it as, well, But like, if it's something that keeps coming up and you keep saying it, then that's when I'm like, okay, like, what are you thinking? But my thing is, if you're trying to get to know me, why are we even having this conversation? Like, if that's what you're on, why are we talking?
And I think that's what Mike was talking about, right, Mike?
And that's actually what I was.
Okay.
That's what I kept trying to say. Like, like with me, the women that I met, I meet her, we talk on before we even go out on a date. We're talking on the phone or whatever. Then we go out on a date, and we out on a date, and she's looking at me, and she's hearing my conversation, and then she say, "Are you a player?" Like that. I'm not gonna take that offensively.
So we talking about, but I'm sorry, Darnell, to cut you off.
Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
And she say, "Are you a player?" That's not offensive to me. I'm gonna laugh it off, and I'm gonna ask her, "Well, why you say that? What's gonna make you say that?" And if she goes into it, she say, "I don't know, it's just something about you," and that's why I told you I'm not going to take that as a negative thing. But I want to know what makes you say, what about me makes you say that? And then that brings about more conversation and more interesting conversation, because now I want to dig into why you think like that, what makes you feel that way, who have you been around, and now I'm going to ask you about your relationship. And that, to me, that's going to make for a good and interesting date, because y'all have a lot to talk about and give you some things to try to understand and feel that person out about. But like Catherine and Michelle said, if you keep asking me, then now I got a problem with it. But asking me at all, man, I'm just not built like that.
I'm talking about, but Darnell, I've been talking about right off before you even exchange phone numbers and nothing. That shit's offensive. I know Big Rich feel the same way.
Hey, man, look.
It's so offensive to me.
I'm going to say this to you, Rich. I'm going to say this to you. If a woman asks me, if she give me, if I see a woman.
You all right, bro? Yeah, you might have muted yourself.
Hold on. I'm right here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like right off, I definitely ain't gonna take it offensive right off, because if she a fine and beautiful sister and I really want her number, I'm gonna definitely let her know. I'm not no player. Because she might not want to fool with you if you even think so. Either which way, brother, it's not offensive to me.
I'm just okay. Well, Tate, I'm gonna go around the panel for the man and use this scenario, and we'll drop this. This is a debate, and then I'll talk to the women and I'll change the scenario for the women. But if a woman come up to any of you guys and she say how you do, or you say how you doing, and she say I'm doing fine. My name is such and such, and then he was like, just say y'all talking about the spot where y'all at. And she just come off like, man, you look like you got it going on. You just look like a little player or something. Do that automatically give you a red flag? I'm going to go to Rich first, then I go to Darnell, then I go to Tate, and then go to Mike. If she says that, you going to take that as a joke, or you going to take that as she got the loser's mentality, Rich?
I'm going to just ask her, what does it matter? Do you swaddle? What's wrong with me asking that? No, wait a minute. What's wrong with me asking that? I'm that kind of guy.
All right. Darnell, if she come at you like that right away, right out the gate, is this gonna put a red flag for you or not? What's gonna go on, bro? You gonna take the number or what?
No, it's not gonna put a red flag on me. I'm gonna take the number. I'm gonna give her my number, because to me, she just being cautious. That's all. But I'm gonna definitely take the number.
All right. Will, what you gonna do?
It depends on where I'm at. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If I'm like, I ain't gonna say it's lonely, but if I'm like looking like this, damn, dog, here.
Just answer the question, man. Come on, don't move the goalpost. Let's go.
I'm gonna answer the question. The thing is, if I'm in a playful mood, I'm gonna take some slick shit back.
Okay.
But if I'm in a mood that's like I'm really not playing around, like I'm not trying to play around with my life, I'm an exit. I'm exit stage left.
Okay. So
that's
you gonna.
What I say. It's all about the delivery of that question. It ain't so much a question. It's how you ask somebody that. Like I'm gonna go back to this question to you too. When you said the whole neighborhood whole thing, right?
Hold on, let's get this out, because I want Mike. We'll come back. We'll come back to your thing. Let Mike answer it, and then we'll come back. I want to get off track. I want to move. Mike, what you will say, Mike? Oh shit, he on hold. So, and then I think I lost Darnell. So, all right, we'll go to Michelle, and then we'll go back to Catherine. All right, so if a man come up to you and you talking to him, Michelle, and he ends up saying to you, you're a beautiful woman, but it look like you may have a lot of men. Hey, put it on mute, bro. You gotta put it on mute in the background. Michelle, so if a man come up to you and select you and saying that you got men, are you gonna want to talk to him?
If he's trying to say I'm a hoe, or if he's just saying you look like you have a lot of men that.
Hey, Darnell, put your YouTube on mute, bro.
I think it depends on how it's asked and what is being asked specifically. Like if you're
So if he just we just gonna use a scenario. Say if I came up to you and be like, how you doing? My name's Brian. Boom, 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 boom. And I see you here with your girls, but it look like you should have a man, and you look like you can get any man. Are you gonna want to talk to me for already put you on that pedestal, or just saying you got a lot of men?
I would, if you said it just how you said it, I would talk to you. I wouldn't. I don't think that's that deep.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'm trying to see what's the equivalent than a woman coming up to a man saying he a player. So I guess.
Easy. Here it is. Look,
all right.
If I come up to what's her name, Michelle?
Yeah.
All right, I come up to Michelle like, hey, I'm Will. How you doing, Michelle? You're like, you got your options. And I said, just like that, you got your options, huh? You look at me like, nigga, what the fuck you trying to say?
Well, let her answer it then. Let her answer it.
And then I say, hey, how you doing, Michelle? Hey, so it look like you shouldn't have any issues with trying to, get a brother or, have a piece of arm cake. It's how you say it.
It's definitely
it's how you say it.
Okay.
It is how you say it.
That just dictates your response. When somebody can make you sideways, you're going to get like a sideways ass answer.
Exactly.
But you come at me like, all right.
So Rich, I'm gonna go Rich because he said the sideways thing. So anytime a woman say player to you in any type of form or fashion, do you feel like it's sideways or it's just the delivery of how she say it?
It depends on if I know her or not. If we don't know each other, you can't talk to me like that.
Okay, cool. I mean, I feel the same way.
It's
You don't know me.
standard, man.
If you don't know me, you just can't come to me any type of way. That's just how I feel. What about you, Michelle?
I agree with who was just talking.
Big
I'm sorry,
Rich.
the first one. Okay, yeah, I agree with him. If he came at me and was like, "Oh, you got your options," my response would definitely be different. I'm like, "What you mean I got my options?" That's how I would come back at him. But the way you said it, it's just a different demeanor, it's a different tone, and you're saying it differently. But when you think about the whole concept of everything, I think saying somebody got options versus saying you look like a player, to me, that's two different things. Because I can almost take that as a compliment that you're coming up to me saying you look like you can have any man you want. Okay, well, I may take that as a compliment. But if you come at me and say you look like a hoe, because I feel like that's similar to saying you look like a player. So that's where it would definitely be an issue. So I think it just depends on how you say it and what you're saying. So I can't say that, I would react this way because a person said, oh, you look like you have options. But if you come at me and say you look like a hoe, that's like saying a dude, you look like a player, then I'm going to have an issue with that.
All right. So there's a question in the chat. What if a woman come up to you and say, did you cheat in your last relationship? And I'll start with Tate on this one. If a woman come up to you and ask you, did you cheat in your last relationship, Tate? How would you take her? How would you take that question?
It's just, once again, it's the delivery, right? I mean, at the end of the day, she wants to know, right?
Yeah.
First of all, why do you want to care about what happened in my past? And I'm being so serious with my last relationship. If we want to go there, I can tell you what happened. And if it led to cheating, let's just put it on the table.
So, but is that a turn off for you? Is that a turn off for getting to know that woman?
It is ultimately because why you cared about my past, it didn't work. Still, regardless of how we got to the end, we both chose to make it not work.
All right. Darnell. So Darnell, if a woman come up to you, ask you, did you cheat in your last relationship? Is that a red flag for you or no? Just the first conversation. I'm talking about first conversation before numbers are even handed out.
No, I don't take it as a red flag.
Okay.
I don't take it as, if you want me to tell you why I don't take it as a red flag, I will. Because I just don't see that. I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing because she wants to know, hey, have you ever cheated? So that's to me, that's just not. I mean, I want to know if a woman cheated. I want to know it too. I mean, I may not come out and ask her, but I want to know if she cheated because I don't want to fool with nobody.
Man, I'm setting yourself up for a lie, though. I mean,
brother, wait. Before you go, even if they lie, okay, but if they can, everybody can lie. We're not even going that far because, like he said, if you're going in a relationship thinking this person you take it offensively, then you need to learn how not to be so sensitive at questions. If you want my past, everybody past.
Oh my God!
Everybody past is important. I need to know what her past was. If you ain't faithful or you ain't stable, then why would I even want to?
But you just told. But Darnell, you just contradict yourself. You just said everybody lie, but then you said if you go off of what they tell you, then what's that too, though?
What I'm saying is, say if I ask a female, I say, hey, have you ever cheated in a relationship, right? And she tell me no, right? Okay. If I take that, right, we gonna go on because I can only take her as face value. But I'm not gonna think in my mind, oh, she lies. I'm gonna accept what she say until she shows me she a liar. If she don't ever show me she a liar, I'm not gonna take it at first jumping and make the assumption that everybody a liar. I'm gonna take what you say until you show me differently. So I'm gonna take it. Now further down the line, if you show me things or you do things, then it's gonna through my intuition, I'm gonna say, you know what? She might not be true in what she told me, but I'm not going. I don't enter a relationship like that.
Let's go to Mike. If a woman come out to you and ask you straight up, just like the question in the chat say, did you cheat in your last relationship without exchanging numbers before you get the number? Would you want to talk to her?
If I had the chance, I would have to say how deep will my relationship be with the last person in my relationship. And as deep, I'll keep the number, but I just wouldn't call it until after the relationship is over.
No, I'm asking if you meeting a lady at a bar or club or wherever at the grocery store, and she just come in, y'all talking, and you seem like you about to close the deal, and she said, "Did you cheat in your last relationship?" Is that a red flag not to talk to her by asking that question?
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. To me, honestly, it is, because if she said, "Did I cheat on my last relationship?" She's just, I don't know. I get that feeling that, it's like a setup.
Hey, she just said you're a pretty piece of shit. You're a cute piece of shit. Hey, how you doing? You look nice. Hey, are you a whore or a whoremonger? What? Bitch, bye.
All right.
Because I've been waiting for.
Are we gonna come to you, Catherine? Hold on. Let me go to the last man, and I'm gonna go to the women next. Hold on. Let me go to Rich last. If a woman asks you that question, Rich, what you gonna say, man?
No, I just tell her, hey, man, this ain't got nothing to do with me and you. What's in the past is in the past. What's your intentions? What you trying to get into? But in the back of my mind, I'm gonna be thinking like, man, ding, 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 ding. This is too much. I don't even know you, short.
Correct. All right. So I'm gonna go to Catherine. If a man meet you, say if you go out tonight, Catherine, because I know streets hot out there in Texas, and a man come up to you tonight and conversate with you and ask you, did you cheat in your last relationship? Is that gonna be a turn on or turn off? Or are you still gonna give him the number?
Okay. If a guy come up to me and ask me that when he first meet me, and I'm gonna wonder what what would make him, ask that, but I'm not going to not talk to him, especially if I'm attracted to that man. Because first of all, the attraction is the first thing when you first meet somebody. So if I see this man and he come up to me and we get to talking, and maybe first of all, y'all got to be realistic with this thing. Most people not walking up to somebody and asking them straight up, if they're the one approaching, that would be rude to just come up to somebody.
Hold on, Catherine. Catherine, I want to say something. You'll be surprised before you will conversate with a woman, and I know all the men can say on the panel, you'll conversate with a woman, and before you get the number, she'll ask you questions like, have you cheated, or something like that, or she'll ask you, is she a Christian? She'll ask you, do you work? She'll ask you a lot of fucking things before she get a number up. She'll
be bold.
Yeah, she'll be bold. I mean, I know I ain't the only man that know before you close a deal with a woman, she can ask you a bold ass question. Am I right, Tate?
Okay, so then let me ask y'all this. So if that woman is that same woman, it looks like let's see, I don't know, like a Beyonce or Halle Berry, and she asked this question. Are y'all going just because she ass to me. Y'all gonna laugh that shit off and be like, yeah, no, baby, I'm trying to get to know you.
That's where you don't think much of yourself. I don't care whether she look like Halle Berry or not. That's
that's for a man though. Nah, he ain't talking to you, Captain.
It sound nice, Rich, but if you was in that situation, doggone fail. That you
no, because I tell you what it is. I tell you for a fact. I don't give a fuck about none of that. You can get with me, and I believe that. This is not arrogance. This is you speak from your experiences. I'm telling you from my experiences in my life. The way a woman look ain't got nothing to do with how I. So when I'm booted and suited and I'm having a good time, I'm the prize up in that motherfucker.
I tell you, it sounds good, Rich. It sounds good.
It is good, baby.
I'd like to see you in that type of situation.
I know you would.
The baddest chicks that you think in your mind, the baddest chick that's in your mind, and she come up and ask you that, you gonna laugh that shit off and keep it going with the conversation. And I know it's but I know that you would do different.
I don't know who you used to dealing with, baby. I'm a different kind, though.
Hey, Stack, I gotta say, man.
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Darnell.
Stack, it's funny to hear this brother talk. I'm gonna tell y'all, I just gotta be honest. Man, if it's a fine gal, I'm talking about big butt, big, beautiful, big butt, big. I'm gonna tell you now, I don't care what question she asks me.
Hey, man. Hey, that's a.
Wait a minute. I'm being as honest as I can be. Listen, I had this bad gal in front of me, and brother, it was out of nowhere. We just laughing and talking at the table. We just having a good time. And then she offered asked me, "Are you a cheater?" And I just had to bust out laughing because I'm like, "Where did that come from?" You know, but we both was laughing. I just don't take that offensively. I'm like,
well, I'm just saying, what we saying on my channel, my guys that come over here, we're not blinded by no beauty. We're not blinded by no girl's stroke or none of her stuff. And I see where Rich coming from. You gotta, as a man, you gotta have boundaries. Just because a beautiful woman show up, don't mean you lose all your frame. You stand for something, or you'll fall for anything. And it's a lot of men right now at divorce court or lost half their assets by chasing a woman for the vag. So.
I agree, but I'm just being honest.
You know what? I get what you're trying to do, Stack, with the narrative, but we got to also be real about the thing, because people got to be real. I get it, but in a real life situation and stuff like that, most men ain't gonna care if that woman is the baddest woman in their eyes, and what they see, because everybody got a different standard, and what they see is beauty, and what they think is fine. But I'm asking, like, for the baddest woman in that man's eyes, come up there and say, ask them a question. They is not going to be that devil 55. I don't believe that.
He gonna answer every question. I agree. He gonna answer every question.
Listen, here's the thing, right? You can have the most beautiful, the most attractive person ask you a question. It's just like a motherfucker who's pretty, but when they open up their mouth, they got gap teeth and they fucked up. The stuff that comes out of somebody's mouth makes sense to somebody who's looking for something more than just looks. Like having a pretty woman ask me questions, I'm still going to answer the questions the same way. Now, once again, I always say it's about the delivery of these questions. A pretty woman can ask me a question and she can season it where it's like, okay, it's a deep-rooted question, but she's making it where we both can talk and we both can be honest. Great. An ugly woman can ask me the same question. She can be playful. I will still answer the same way. Like most of the men are saying, I'm not going to change up who I am just for this woman. Because one place where this woman is the most baddest woman on earth, somewhere else she's a fucking headache and a nightmare. Ask Halle Berry how many times she's been married. Because the bitch still ain't married to this day. And she's gorgeous.
She can get them, but she can't keep them.
Listen, J-Lo, the same thing. J-Lo has the biggest ass, the nicest chick. She's still single. And she had A-Rod, she had this, and she had that. So pretty chick don't mean shit to most dudes who got their shit together. Only somebody who's looking for a king or somebody else, that'll come up where it's like, no, hell no.
So then let me get another example, it might be a woman who don't want a relationship. Some of them women that you named probably don't even want to be with nobody. But like Steve Harvey's daughter, she said, you know, she done been with multiple guys.
She ain't fucking with Future. Future, that was some shit for publicity. She was Michael B. Jordan. That nigga is pulling the shit out of her. They calling that nigga a simp. But here's the thing.
That's not what. Like I'm saying though, that women that not with anybody like Halle Berry, how y'all know that she really even wants that? She may not even want to be married. Y'all saying that she's the woman and she can't leave a man for nothing. How you know she wanted to a man?
Okay,
Why should she trying to get married then if she want a man so bad or if she don't want one?
You brought her into the conversation. You brought that whole this baddest chick. Hell, Rihanna was a bad chick too. And guess what? She had a billionaire. She ain't married now. Like you probably
that woman may not want to be married. She might not want to be married.
That's a choice, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's a choice.
I get it.
And the same thing with somebody who has money. That's why I say all this shit goes back down to where a person is in their life. That's why I said money does certain things for certain people.
Yeah, attraction does. Attraction does a certain thing for people too. So like
it comes down to it ain't got nothing to do with money. The thing is, I don't look. I just don't put no pussy on the pedestal, brother. I'm on the pedestal.
Listen, you got exactly. That's your money. That's your status. We say money, but it shit translates to different things. Like I said, you look at a woman like Oprah. Oprah's a billionaire. She never had to marry fucking Steph, but she got her. Cool. She ain't never want to be married. Then you look at somebody else. Look at Barack. You even heard Michelle say she didn't even really want the nigga at first. But look at they're in America's Cup. Like I say, everybody has.
Brother, I think we got off track.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. Well, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and
what Catherine was saying was, I think she was asking like if what you think in your mind. If a beautiful woman like is fine and beautiful and see everything, would you think that question was so like if you were really, really interested in that woman, you're not gonna say because you asked me that question to the hell with you and going on. No.
But Darnell. But
I'm not trying to get with her. She's trying to get with me though.
I don't know. Okay, I just can't ask you no more questions.
But Darnell, this is why.
Catherine, I agree with you. Listen. I have standards, Catherine. And if a woman came up to me and she's fine and she's beautiful and she's everything, I'm just being honest with you, Catherine. I'm gonna answer every question and I ain't gonna get offended by not a one question.
Okay, so you
sound like they got a problem with women.
So hold up. So hold on real quick, Darnell. So you mean to tell me
this nigga Darnell, this Captain Saberhole nigga?
I'm just being honest.
So hold up, Darnell.
Like a clown. Come on, cuz. Be honest with us. You a troll, ain't you? You trolling everybody. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute now.
You trolling, nigga.
Hey, Darnell.
Because I'm agreeing with Catherine.
No, ain't that. I'm gonna ask you a question, Darnell. So
Because you say it sounds feminine. It sounds like a feminine disposition is what it sounds like.
Catherine, what I'm saying is that if a woman, like, it depends on where I am, because I don't have a problem with a woman asking me a question like that.
but
I think
Darnell, let me stop you real quick.
You probably pillow talk with bitches too, right?
Hold on real quick, dog. Darnell, if the woman was on a scale of 1 to 10, we talking about a 10. So obviously 10s, you give a little bit more room to hang themselves. But that woman was a motherfucking 2, and she asked you the same questions, you gonna be like, what the hell you think you are?
I'm gonna still answer the question.
But at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, what room? Let's just be honest. I know attraction does have a different level, but if a woman is a sexual marketplace value is lower than the next woman, you're gonna look at the woman that's a 5. Let's say a woman a 7 and the woman is a 10. The woman that's a 7 that asks you that question, you might think a little different than the one that's a 10. Because from what I hear from you, you talking about she's so fine and this and that, you're losing sight of what you stand for as a man. And that's what Rich is over there saying you putting on your cape.
No, that's not true, because I told y'all from the jump, I don't care whether she's a 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't care. I don't take the question offensively. What I'm saying, I'm answering Catherine's question when she say, hey, now if it was a beautiful fact, yeah, I'm going to answer it too. Because I just don't see that as offensive.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask Michelle this question.
Right. This is good, because here's the thing. This is the thing that makes, as we say, statistics beat statistics. You have a panel of 4 men, 2 women, and you have a difference in opinions, right? You have 3 of the, including yourself, 3 of the 5 saying one thing, 2 or 1 or however, you have a difference of opinion, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with what Darnell is saying.
No, I ain't saying nothing.
Hear me out. Don't cut me out. There's nothing wrong with what he's saying, because that's his program. That's what he allowed, and that's his message. Right. That's how he gets down. Obviously, some of us others have different views, different opinions, and that's cool. It answers the question. Hey, he's okay with it. Some other brothers are not. Because I'm pretty sure if we flip the question, some women will say, hey, that's cool. Others will say it's not. That's the beauty of fucking life. You can make those decisions.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Some people are more, like you say, handicapped by a pretty woman, because it's like, damn, she's talking to me. Oh, she asking me these questions. Oh, I don't know what to do. Other people, as you can kind of hear, hey, I don't give a fuck what the fuck it is. I'm not going to go that route. I mean, everybody has their limits and their places of how they deal with things. I think the bigger question is, I think I hear it more so, is like, why is this person coming at me like this? Because that's the bigger question to me. Why are you coming at me like this if you're trying to get to know me? Because you're giving me a different mindset of like how we're going to go with it. Because you coming at me sideways, well, I ain't going to say sideways. You started out giving me negativity. How do you want me to put positivity into this?
I'm just saying.
You can't say you like me. I'm saying you can't say you like me and then try to criticize me or cut me down at the same breath, because then it's like, who the fuck are you? Yeah,
no matter what a beauty is, that's what we trying to say. No matter what a beauty is, I get what Catherine was saying. Some man will just, and that was I hate to say, the man that's gonna overlook the respect for herself is a simp. I don't give a fuck who you is. If you allow a woman to run all over you or say anything, and I know it's just a little comment, but this adds on. If she start off shit testing you and disrespect you in the beginning, she's gonna do that in the end as well. The same way you start, the same way you finish. If she's gonna,
that's not a disrespectful thing. But to each his own. Everybody gonna feel how they gonna feel. But asking somebody that ain't no disrespect.
But I'm just saying. But if she get out of pocket, and that's your program as a man to not deal with that, just like if a man get out of pocket with you and you allow that, you should have said something, then that's the standard you set for yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Coming from Catherine because she's a female.
Yeah, so let me ask you this question, right? This happened to me, and I'm gonna tell you, it happened to me. I'm in a relationship. Me and this person are intimate, right? And we've been together for a while. She asked me flat out, "Are you gay?" And I've been with her. Was that disrespectful, or was that some other shit?
I can find that being offensive. Yes, that's very offensive, because if you've been with me, you should know me, what type of person I am, and why would you even ask that? That's totally different from asking a person, do they cheat from the jump?
No, we're not going there. What I'm saying that is, she had the audacity to come at me sideways, because in the beginning, I didn't set those parameters with her in the beginning. So as they say, as time went on, the disrespect, it intensified.
Now let me ask you this. Why is that woman, if that woman is going to ask you a question in that nature, because women know, a woman knows how to someone asks you something like that, there has been something that has happened that she's seen or something to make her ask you that kind of question. And that is an offensive question. I would be offended if a man that I was with asked me that after we've been together, asked me, am I gay or am I a lesbian? I'm gonna be like, what the hell? Like, what the hell you mean?
Well, look here. Go ahead, y'all. I'm about to get off this, y'all. I ain't gonna be on all night. So y'all, we about to say our closing state. We gotta.
I ain't gonna have a damn talk show and then say I'm gonna get no fuck off the table. What's that?
Hey, I got things to do. We gonna do this. We gonna come back tomorrow, man. We got time and strengths in here, you know.
We'll put like this. Catherine, I will address it now. I told you. I didn't set my shit up from the beginning, and I allowed this to just continue to go that way. It got really nasty with that relationship. So, but like I say, you're right, Catherine. But like I say, it's two ways to do things, and all I will say is the same manner how you ask something, it'll come back the same way. You come off disrespectful. There you go. The Bible says you're supposed to turn the other cheek, right? I'm gonna take my whole body with it, and it may come with a hand and an arm with it too.
Oh yeah. All right. So the moral of this video was to talk about double standards. I feel like we got a little heated arguments. It is a double standard. But tomorrow night we're gonna be talking about the size, looks, and fitness matter. You know, this is a good topic. I think it's to find out. You know, everybody has a different outlook where you at in your life, like Tate said. So, with that being said, Catherine, I'm gonna let the ladies go first. Michelle, you got anything you want to say about double standards? Last comment for you, or anything you want to say?
I was gonna say on that last one, I kind of agree with Catherine about not talk to somebody, especially if you're attracted to them. But I'm not about to get back into all that. But yeah, so I don't have anything to say.
You said what?
I said I don't have anything else to say.
All right. Well, hopefully you call in tomorrow about the size and the looks thing, because we're gonna talk about size, looks, and fitness. Does that matter?
Okay.
Please do call in, Michelle. Please.
I will.
All right. Now, Catherine.
Hey, hell, Michelle, call in, girl. Shit.
All right. Catherine, what you got to say about the double standard thing?
Okay, on the double standard thing, like I said, I do agree. You know, I gave my position on the topics that you brought up. You know, I know we went a little bit off, as you know, it wasn't as normal because we got into a agree to disagree on that one topic about asking a question. I'm gonna still stand to mine that I don't think that is so disrespectful to ask a person that type of question. But I mean, each person is different. It's all about, because that, like, it was offensive to some of y'all, and wasn't as offensive to, you know, Donnell. He's a man himself, so that just lets you know some men don't find it offensive and some do. So you got to know, and maybe that person just is not for you. But I want the people who listening, the men out there who listening, I'm a female, and I'm gonna let you know. Don't always think because a woman asks you that question that she is trying to judge you or something, or she doesn't have any interest in you, or she's trying to disrespect you in some kind of way. That is not true for any man out there listening. A woman will ask a question because she wants to know something. Please don't be offended by a woman, because you could be turning away a good woman. It might be something in you, and it actually could be, in a way, kind of flattering. It should be, because if a woman thinks that you could just get a whole lot of women, that says it's something about you. So it should not be taken that offensive. But I mean, to each his own. Some people get upset, get offended by certain things, and some people don't. So that just lets you know, and that's a place where a person is in life. Maybe there's certain things offend one person, won't offend the next. So I respect everybody, as always, that's on the panel, and I always enjoy coming for the conversation, and you know, and I do take in, you know, what each one says, and with respect.
Stay safe in those streets tonight. I know you're gonna be out. All right, Darnell, what you got, man? What you want to say before you get out of there, bro?
Well, I would just like to say to the panel, man, I enjoyed the little time that I did come in, but I think as a people, we need to learn how to take things. We need to learn how to receive things and not take things so offensively, so we can understand. something like y'all spoke about earlier that's in that person's past that they may see that they just want to be sure about. So I think as the listener, you just have to learn how to take things, learn how to accept questions, learn how to take questions without taking it in a negative manner. That's all.
And I'm gonna say this about this is like, you know, when we get on these panels, you say what you say, they say what they say. Let's just move on because we got all off track tonight, but it happens and people are gonna learn from it, so it's all good. Big Rich, what you got to say, brother?
Brother, I just want to say thank you to you. Thank you for everybody on the panel that had their input to put in. I learned a lot as far as people's positions on matters. It's always good to hear a diverse amount of opinions to see where people are coming from in life, because you don't learn anything by being in your own head. You learn by interacting with each other. And just remember, everybody, that we do have more in common than we do have differences. But for you brothers out there, stand on your square, brothers. Do not compromise. There are certain things you don't have to take them as disrespect from people, but you must stand on your square and hold your standards high and do not compromise for anyone, male or female, on that.
Facts.
Everyone have a good night, and I look forward to talking to all y'all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, man. All right, Tate, what you got, man? I have Mike to have the last word because Mike gonna drop the mic. I know he gonna say something, but what's up, Tate? What you got?
Oh, yeah. So first of all, to all the panelists and even to the listeners, thank y'all for letting us be who we are, unapologetically ourselves. Like everybody's kind of said, everybody has a different point of view. We're talking about the same thing. You get to see the diversity of opinions. And I think for the most part, we still are respectful of differences of opinions. Just because we don't agree on the same exact response or reaction doesn't mean that like we think less than of somebody else. So at the end of the day, you got to be who you are. Like I said, I always approach things in decency and in order. Like you said, stand on your square, have your principles about your life. Always, think about not only what you're saying, but how it comes across to the next person. And I think at the end of the day, man, we have more, like you said, we have more to gain from each other than it will take away from. So, like I say, this was a great topic. And wait to hear what tomorrow got to be.
All right. Mike, you want to drop that mic and end this motherfucking man?
Man, I would just want to say, there's a lot of things that I learned on that show. And one thing is never be complacent with somebody who disrespects you. Because if you don't check that shit in the beginning, then they're always going to disrespect you. They may be actually gauging your strength by just asking you that kind of silly question to try to see what else they can do. Now, I'm not saying this from an insecure standpoint. I'm saying this for a stand your ground standpoint. When you stand your ground, people that do respect you won't ask you those kind of questions. I know some people may take it offensively and some people may not. They may see it as a joke. But some people in the world, they ain't fucking joking. They will ask you that question to see how they can angle you and then figure, okay, well, since he didn't take me seriously and ain't checked me in the beginning, now I'm going to run with that shit. People, you need to be more alert of what's going on. I just want to say thank you so much, Stack, for creating this wonderful panel, this wonderful channel, and opening our eyes to the bullshit. Rich, I want to say, man, you did a wonderful job. Darnell, I mean, you okay, brother, but me, from my point of view, I think that your side needs a little bit more improvement as to, I'm not sure if you see the kind of shit that's going on or you're aware or how serious the situation is of how men are being taken right now in society for a joke, especially men of color. A lot of these females out here don't really give a fuck about how strong you are or how respectful you could be to them if they didn't respect you from the beginning. And one of those, as far as asking a question like that, of how, saying, are you a player? For a person that would say that, they don't respect you. And I'm going to be honest with you on that. And I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not trying to argue with anyone else in here. I just want to say more and more, we got to be more close to God, because these fucking devils out here and these devilish individuals, they are evil. You know what I'm saying? You have to stand your ground as a man and let them know these Jezebels out here are not to be played with. And we, men and women of God, are not to be played with. You have to take that strongly into consideration. And that's all I'm going to say, people. Be safe out there. Keep doing what y'all doing. Stay positive and stay away from the people that got a lower frequency than you. Because if you're a high frequency individual, it's going to drain your life.
All right, guys.
That's all I'm going to say.
Holla, everybody. See y'all tomorrow. Call tomorrow. We're going to talk about size, size, fitness, and looks. Do that matter? So holla at y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. So I guess I get the last word. What I'm going to say is at the end of the day, you know, double standards are out there, but whether you beat the double standards is to stand on something, because if you don't stand on something, you're going to fall for anything. And you won't be complaining to everybody about what's going on in the world if you just stay in your lane and focus on yourself. Really, that's the moral of this video, is just to be the best version of who you can, have the discernment to understand who to pick in your life, and realize you're the CEO of your life. You hire and fire the people you want. If you want people in your life, you let them in. If you don't want people in life, you just get rid of them. So that's what I really want to say on this video, man. I'm going to shout out to my boy Golden Child, and then shout out to the chat. I see y'all in there. We're going to come back, do this thing tomorrow, and we might have a little bit of chat about what we didn't finish on this one, because we kind of got off track. But I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure y'all like, comment, share these videos, because it can save somebody's life. It can help somebody add standards and boundaries to their life. And that's what I want to say, and I'll let y'all tomorrow. Peace.